All right, we are here. What is up, and welcome everybody to Impera's first show, the Impera Show. Uh, it's good to have y'all here. With me is Fireflies and Vivicus. How y'all doing today?
I feel like a
Um,
bag
I'm
of candy.
doing really good.
Viv, how are you doing?
What?
You all right?
I'm
All
doing
right,
great.
that's good. Fireflies,
How are
what
you
about
doing?
you? I'm good. I'm good.
That's good.
Fireflies, how
Yeah,
are you?
I'm doing really good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. Well, just to let y'all know, the Impera Show, this is the first episode that we're doing. In the future, there's going to be a lot of stuff that goes through this channel, this show specifically. Some examples of that is in the past, we've done interviews with people such as Landmark and Redbox. They're pretty big Tarkov players, very well known. We're looking at doing more interviews such as that for all sorts of various games. Just whatever's going on at the moment, whatever y'all want to see. We'll try to get interviews with people to do that. Other than that, we're going to be reviewing new games, any hot, exciting games that are going on and pretty popular at the moment, any kind of big changes, patches to them, and any topics related to the gaming world is what we're going to be hitting on. On the side of that, we're all from the Impera the Impera community. It's a Discord, over 2,700 plus people currently, with all sorts of stuff going on in there, which we're going to be filling you all in with some more details later on. If y'all are watching this after we're done being live, I believe we're going to have this posted on YouTube as well, and you have any questions, comments, anything like that, or you're interested in joining with Impera, then we will have all of our social media information posted at the end of the stream. So definitely feel free. We encourage you to join in, jump in, and check us out. Join us on all the games we have going on. Also today, we're going to be doing a drawing. We have 3 giveaways that we're doing. Mystery prizes. Once the winners are selected, we'll make contact and we'll let you know what you won. The order, 3 prizes. Biggest prize will be at the very end. The middle prize will be in the middle. And the smaller prize, which is still pretty big, will be kind of towards the beginning after we get done with our first section. So, yeah. Y'all got anything to add on to that, Fireflies?
Sounds good to me. Let's get it going.
Viv, what you think?
I could always add on to you, buddy.
All right, sounds good. All right, so the first person we're going to bring in is Devil. He's one of the leaders of Impera. Can we go ahead and get Devil dragged in here, boys?
Yeah.
Got him.
Welcome, Devil. How you doing? Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Devil? Can you hear us?
Mic check.
We may be having some technical issues, but we'll get this resolved. Looks like Devil disconnected. Oh, he's back.
Hello.
There we
There it
go.
is.
You here?
Coming through. Yeah. Good to go.
All right. So we just ran through kind of a very brief, talking about where we are coming from and what we're doing. So you as the leader of Impera, we wanted to definitely bring you on so we could have you talk a little bit about it and give us your input, right?
Great.
So give me like within 2 minutes, give me your description of Impera. What is it? Why do people want to join it? Stuff like that.
Okay. It's kind of hard to sum up because we do have a lot going on.
Okay.
But if I was to give like a quick description, I would say we're obviously an online gaming community based off of Discord. Our primary service that we offer right now is a tutoring program that we have. I don't know if you've mentioned that yet.
Not yet.
Our main focus is trying to create a comfortable gaming environment for whoever's interested in just joining, kicking back, and gaming with some pals.
Okay. Very cool. So with the idea for Impera, where'd that come from? How did you develop the idea to create a community that has grown so big?
Yeah, so we consider our origin story. We kind of consider ourselves refugees who established a bit of a sanctuary here, an online sanctuary.
Okay.
We came, all of us, from multiple different communities that were kind of toxic. A lot of things people didn't like on those, so we decided to do it right for ourselves and help some people out.
Okay. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that. There's personally, I know of quite a few communities that have become very toxic and kind of just crumbled on themselves. So that is a big
Yeah,
killer. How do y'all
for sure.
how does Impera go about countering that kind of aspect of that building up within Impera?
Right. So I think probably our biggest strength there is the fact that we have a really solid leadership. Um, and then we have a very nice organizational structure that allows everyone to have an equal opportunity for growth and to kind of specialize in their own individual niches. So if someone's really good at talking to people, or if someone's really good at talking to live streamers, they'll go into their own special niche, which will help them operate at like maximum efficiency. Everyone's comfortable. Everyone's having a great time.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. That sounds like a good plan. And normally, real life businesses, anything like that, it really does seem like it starts at the top and then trickle down to cut any of that out and make sure the community stays very positive. So it sounds like a good plan that y'all got going with building that.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
what
Hopefully.
yeah. What plans and goals do you have for the future of Impera?
We wow, we have too much planned, honestly. Right now we're trying to. I think we really need to focus on the projects that we have at hand, and drive them forward so that we can release them at 100% capacity, so that they're not built halfway. Um,
Okay.
some of the things that I'm personally looking for, probably our esports teams. We have a few esports teams in training, which all seem like they have great potential. And the tutoring project, I really hope that takes off, because, man, was I bad at Tarkov the first few weeks I played the game.
I
So
think we all
I
started
think
there.
I think hiring a tutor would really make the difference there.
So I understand also, I know personally that Impera has multiple divisions within it to handle things such as the esports, maintaining the HR department, all sorts of stuff like that. So the reason y'all divided this up, was it just trying to get more order, or what made you think and consider to go that route, to divide your divisions up and have this really structured idea for everything to flow really nice?
Yeah, I don't really think it's a matter of order or like leadership or authority or anything. I think it's more of a matter of getting people where they're most comfortable, so that they can operate at 100% capacity. Yeah, so no one's placed into, because there's really nothing worse than doing something that you're poor at and then not being able to get better at it.
Yeah, I understand that one 100%. So what is your favorite thing so far regarding the community that you've built?
Well, I don't want to take credit for building it. If I didn't have a number of people here, it wouldn't get nearly to the place it was. But my favorite thing that they have done, and that I have maybe helped in, is probably just the number of people that we have and how active and interactive our people are.
Okay.
Right there, we have active, social, and honestly super cool members. I think the last count that we took, somewhere around 100 people active in voice channels daily. So I mean, that's a lot of people talking to each other, man. That's a lot of Tarkov
Absolutely.
squads, people playing Rust, League, whatever. So
And
yeah,
off,
maybe just the activity and interactivity between everyone.
off the top of my head, last I saw there was over 2,700 people. Has that number gone up?
Yeah, I think we're at 2,800 now, 2,800 and some.
Okay. That's a big number for a Discord community
Yeah,
with as much
10 or
as it has.
20 a day. Yeah.
That's quite a bit. All right. Well, Viv, do you have any questions that you want to throw out the devil?
Devil, how warm are your hugs?
If you ask my exes, probably not too warm. But if you ask my best buddies, man, pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting question, Viv. Very
I
interesting.
needed to know.
All right.
I needed to know.
Catch you guys in a bit.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks for talking with us right here.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let me change back to...
Really happy.
Yeah, I bet. So that was that was Devil. I know we kind of skipped over our introductions right there. We were trying to get rolling. So I'm Sergeant Vapes. We have Vivicus on the bottom, and then we have Fireflies on the right side of your screen. So within Impera, we also all have roles within these divisions that we roughly talked about there. We're going to dive into that. My job, I'm within the marketing division. Fireflies, what's your job?
I am the division lead for marketing team and the event team of Impera.
All right. And then Vivix, how about you?
I don't know.
You don't know your job.
I'm the guy behind the scenes. I do a lot of HR work. I help the HR teams coordinate with each other with their paperwork. I help create their forms so that they can communicate better. And then on the opposite side, I help with any investigation of, maybe someone they think is a cheater, they're using hacks, if they are maybe super inappropriate in channel. So we have to go in there and try to collect data and try to find any evidence so that we're not just kicking people left and right simply because Johnny didn't like Charlie.
Okay.
And that's what I do. And
I heard you provide the emotional support dog. You have that you provide to Impera.
The emotional support dog. Yeah, he's with us sometimes. But he hangs out a little bit here and there.
Gotcha.
And, does some good squeaking toys. He doesn't have any right now, but it gives us a little bit of added squeaks to our conversations usually.
All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and we will dive into the first part of the divisions that we're going to go into. So we're going to talk about marketing. Could we go ahead and pull Hollywood back into the chat as well?
Absolutely.
Hollywood, welcome.
How's it going, guys?
It's going. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's good. So we just recently talked to Devil, got his input on Impera, and we're going to be jumping into the marketing section right now. But before we do that, how's your day going?
My day's going pretty good. Just got finished with a run, and that's what's going on with the wardrobe change.
Okay. Gosh, I like the Impera shirt you got on too. I see that.
No, right? Represent.
Yes, sir. All right. So just to introduce you, this is Hollywood. He is the Chief Media Officer of Impera. So Hollywood, what is your job with that all involved? What do you do?
So I manage the media division. I have 2 division leads directly under me. Fireflies, this gentleman right here. To the under me.
He's to your right.
To the top right of me. Yeah, we'll go with that. I was going to get it eventually. I got Iceman and then tons of beautiful individuals directly under their command. We have 4 different teams. We have the event team, marketing team, esports team, as well as recruiting team, and they all have their different roles and specialties. And honestly, their name describes exactly what they do. So
Understood. Awesome. So the first division that we're talking about, again, I'm going to just reiterate this, is the marketing division. You're also in charge of others, like you just mentioned. So with that, can you go into detail of what the responsibilities that you hold are?
Yeah, for sure. So I'd like to say that Impera has a kind of very similar to a military style chain of command. And it's that same management structure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of manage the division leads, they manage directly under them, and it kind of trickles downhill. So like,
Okay.
we'll have a new marketing member, and he will report directly to his coordinator, and then his coordinator will report directly to his lead, so on and so forth. My job is essentially to manage, some odd jobs here and there.
Gotcha. So the leadership, pretty much, just make sure everything's rolling smooth, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Smooth, like.
And I must add, he's actually doing
Nutella.
a great job too.
Thank you.
Awesome.
A little bias there.
Viv, Vivicus, do you have any questions for Hollywood?
No, I pretty much know all the ins and outs of Hollywood.
Yeah, he's got plenty of questions. He's just
Plenty
gotta
of
filter
questions.
All right.
himself. What's the rating of this podcast? PG, PG-13, R? Come on.
Let's just go with PG-13. That'll be fine. Maybe in the future we'll bump it up to R, but we'll see how that goes.
We go
Of
with
course.
PG-13, and all of a sudden his questions bring to 0.
Awesome. So primarily, the media and engaging content currently in today's society, at least, is a major step in marketing for this type of subject revolving games and communities and whatnot that Impera is all about, right?
Of course.
So that's one reason also we're launching the show is to do bi-weekly, right? So there's additional plans that are going to be worked on within all the divisions, and some of which also will involve multiple divisions on the same plan, and that's to get more members of the gaming community involved and showcase Impera to them as well. So is there anything that you know of, other than the show of course, that's currently being worked on for that reason, to push out to outside of the community and bring more people in to show them, you know, there's a welcoming Discord here that's willing to take them?
Yeah, of course. Each one of our teams has their own little projects, aside from their normal duties. One pretty good example we've had recently is our event team has come out with a blood brawl event. It's going to get out eventually. And
All right.
constantly, I got to say, constantly, these guys are creating new events, brainstorming stuff. I think I'd go as far to say is we probably have a new event out maybe 2 times a month. Recently,
Okay.
they had a break, so there was a little bit of a gap there because they were doing such good work. We wanted to reward them, but that's
Okay.
one. We have a couple more, like marketing, for example. We recently just started a marketing campaign on Facebook to get a little bit more exposure out there and get some new recruits in here. So
Okay. So let me jump over to Fireflies real quick. Fireflies,
Yeah.
you're in charge of marketing, like you're the lead for that division.
Yes.
What do you consider the overall goal as the division lead, and how do you push your team to achieve that goal? And I'm jumping to you because Hollywood's in charge; he's above you. But I feel like coming down a step and asking you, because you'll be a bit more in the meat, more hands-on.
Yeah.
You'll be there. So what would you have to answer for that one?
I would say that my primary work is to make sure that Hollywood is always up to speed on everything that is going on. Also, he hands down tasks to me that he wants my teams to do. Simply, if it's marketing that campaign, for example, that we're currently running, or he wants to see some more action on one side or the other on social medias. That is kind of my work to then hand down to yourself as you're the marketing lead.
Mhm.
And my way of doing things is that I tend to like to stay really in touch with everyone on my team, even down to the associates that are under the coordinator lead, and making sure that they know that they have my support, and if they ever need anything or just need someone to bounce some ideas with, then they can. So I think that my main goal is to make sure that the chain of command is simply strong,
Okay.
as you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Okay. And then
Yep.
I'm aware that we have things such as the short-term things that we're always managing. So that's going to be our social medias. We have long-term goals such as the show we're trying to put on, and that's something to focus on. Not just I guess that it more is classified as short-term and long-term because you're always managing it, but it does have long-term goals that we're striving to hit.
of course,
Yes.
of course.
So, yeah. So, Slippery, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. If you are interested in any of the Discord information to join in Impera, let us know. We will throw that into the chat. We have Viv here for any questions that are coming up and that need to go out. So, don't be afraid to ask any questions. Speaking of questions, Vivicus, do you have anything for Hollywood? Okay, that's a no.
Other than a hug and maybe a smooch.
All right, sounds good. Fireflies, how about
Give me
you?
5
Yeah.
What was that?
No, I think I'm good actually.
Okay, sounds good.
I think he put everything very good already, so we can always touch it up later on if anyone else wants to ask some questions directly to this email.
Sounds
He will
good.
be up to some questions.
All right. Hollywood, I actually want to keep you here for a minute if that's cool. We're
good.
gonna swap this over and talk about the HR department. I figured you can help me interrogate. I mean, interview interview Vivicus of
This should be interesting.
the HR department. So Viv, tell me about your position and how HR works for Impera.
How does HR work for Impera? We didn't do this? I thought we did this. HR is HR. If you have concerns either with something or someone, or you have an actual current issue, you contact an HR personnel or any staff member, and the staff member links you up with the HR department. HR will deal with, believe it or not, we log every single like shout out and praise that our members have about other members. So if somebody's like, holy crap, I just went on this raid with Hollywood, and man, he sucks so bad, but he gave me so much cool stuff in the beginning. Right. But after, he jumped in and then he ran away and died to a Taz scav. So we'll be like, oh wow, this person really appreciated Hollywood, and so we'll mark it down. And after we see so much activity, and we personally will stop in every once in a while and check up on certain players and see how they're doing. These members have the ability to grow in our community, so we will involve them in some more in-depth style raids and stuff like that. And then adversely, HR will deal with the opposite. And we always do this privately so that there's no shame on anyone. And we investigate very thoroughly. And that's if somebody has a complaint about another person, they are worried about another person's activity in the game. We do have a certain code of ethics in some of our games, like Tarkov, for instance. And if you don't follow those ethics, or at least in the beginning of the match, if you don't at least say, hey, this is how I play, this is how my team's playing, and you're not communicating well. Anybody who doesn't uphold our standards as a community, nobody's supposed to be a troll, nobody's supposed to be an elitist. We're all here to help each other get better at certain games. So if you're a bit of a jerk, we get 4 or 5 reports on these people. We're gonna be like, hey man, what's going on? We'll talk to them, and we'll make sure they understand how things work at Impera. All gamers are welcome, and nobody should be shamed for sucking as bad as them.
Understood. Hollywood, you got anything you want to throw at him, or anything you want to ask him?
Not at this point. No, I'm sure I'm gonna think of like 500 things right after we leave, but
Copy that.
What about you?
How about you, Fireflies?
No, I think he put it well. One thing that he kind of touched on is that we're very good at investigating everything that goes on. So we don't take just someone saying something lightly. We always investigate thoroughly and make sure that we don't do any mistakes on our own, judging or sending out a judgment on someone who actually didn't do something wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I gotta say though, you gotta give it to HR, because I can't sit here and write down a day that I've seen a promotion wave miss, for example. Like, they're all constantly on top of their stuff. So
yeah,
absolutely.
So I guess a shout out to the promotion staff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have to say, I want to throw it out there also that, one of my favorite things is not just HR taking the negative stuff, but also the positive stuff and logging all that. I think that's really, really cool, because it helps over time. It helps you grow to know your community. As you hear these things and you document it down, you'll know how great your community actually is becoming because of the people within it. And to me, that's one of the best things you can't really find any other place. So
definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say Impera is very unique in a way, because we're at no means a small community at all. We have over 2,700 people in the community, and active hundreds of people every day.
Hundreds and hundreds. Yeah.
So
daily.
Looking at how well put it is, and how the community is more loving than even the smallest toxicity doesn't really exist in the community.
Yeah.
We've really made it to the point where most communities struggle, but we're flourishing.
Awesome.
Yes, of course. Yeah, no, that's one of the things that really kind of blows my mind, especially about this community. It's awesome we have so many players here just kind of playing, but what really gets it for me is seeing all these different people apply for staff and dedicate their own time that they could be spending playing video games, and literally just doing it to make other players' days better and to help Impera grow.
Yeah.
Like that really gets me sometimes.
Yeah.
And to emphasize on that, right? Like, to put this entire show together has taken us almost a week and a half to organize, kind of figure out how we want to do it. And then all day today, a couple of us have been working to prep it, make sure all the loose ends are tied. But things like that are happening in every department within Impera.
Exactly.
I worked
It's
so
kind of
hard.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, we're yeah. I totally agree with you on that one. We're working bees, if anything, and
Yeah.
the podcast. For 1.5 weeks, we have been really planning it, getting to this point where we are today, and with everything we're going to go through later on. But the podcast in itself has been a discussion for months
Mhm.
before we actually got to the point where we really started to work on what's going to be the first episode. So it has really taken manpower and hours to come to this point. So
It has. I
We
remember
hope
when you mentioned the idea of wanting to just have a podcast.
yeah,
And when I heard that, I'm like, all right, let's get to work. Let's do it. And let's turn it into something bigger. Because the
Yeah.
idea is always, it's good. But what you can expand that to is always amazing. So,
yeah. And that is what I really love about this community as a whole and the staff team as a whole, because we are people from all over the world in the staff team. Me, for example, I'm Swedish. So looking at it, the way that we can engage with each other and come up with ideas and then spin them off from other people's ideas and just coming together to one big conclusion. That is what we are really good at in the staff team.
absolutely. Viv, have we had any comments or questions yet?
Some people are saying who's talking. I was typing it out, trying not to go clack and clack and clack. So this is. Hang on, let me go to that. No, that doesn't work. This is. Oh shoot, that's vapes. This is Fireflies in the blue shirt and the dark cap on. This is Sergeant Vapes. He's so sexy. And then down there is Hollywood. He's got the Impera t-shirt on, and I'm Vividus. Hello.
And mentioning the Impera t-shirt, if anyone would like to get some Impera merch, you can find that on our main Discord as well.
Ooh, can you?
Yes, sir.
Let's get that link. I'll post.
Look at that sexy shirt.
Yeah, Viv, if you don't mind,
beautiful.
go ahead and post the link for that and the Discord link in there for me. If you could do that.
So if anybody is interested in joining the community, this is the link for joining the Discord. And then if you want really cool Impera shirts, I will find it eventually and post it in there shortly.
All right.
We have a lot of Impera merch, not only shirts, we have hoodies, we have phone cases, mugs.
Yeah.
It's ever expanding and more is to come.
Hey, Zane, thank you for the follow on the channel. We appreciate that. All right. Well, Hollywood, thanks for speaking to us with... Wow, I can't talk. Thank you for speaking with us here. We're definitely going to pull you back because I know we got some topics that we're going to talk about later on, some games also that we're going to pull you in and have some discussions about. So, yeah, we will catch you then, all right? Thanks again for speaking with us on this.
Thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
See you in a bit.
Thank you.
All right. So far we've covered HR, marketing, and overall Impera with Devil. I think so far you're getting the meat and potatoes. I think where we're going next, you're going to really like the details. Up next, we have the esports division, followed by the events division of Impera. Esports is always definitely a really big point that people are always interested in, finding good teams for all sorts of various games, whatever they may be. So let's go ahead and pull in Dried Up, and let's get into this with Dried Up. Can you drag him in here for us? There we go.
What's up, gents?
How's it going, Dried Up? How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Day been all right so far?
I guess you could say all right. You know, I mean, it's surviving.
I hear you. I hear you. All right. So, you're in charge of esports with Impera.
Absolutely, sir.
How is that for you with that role? You feel good about that?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, I have currently one under me. We actually just got a second who just applied today to join our team within esports. And to be honest with you, me and Taper Shade, who is my coordinator, we have been rocking it. Me and him both basically took control of the team that we want to make. And honestly, I could say like in terms of me and him being under me, he has done a fantastic job, and we've really just started to get these teams out of the ground because when I stepped into the role, we had nothing. There was nothing going on, and they pretty much said, "Hey, you're gonna have to build this up from the ground." So we have two teams currently. I run the CS:GO team, and we're running practices every often, and we're gonna start getting scrim set up. Tabor Shade is on our league team. He's still looking for one more role, just because for league it's a little harder because you gotta get roles for each lane and jungle and support, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So he's having a little struggle just finding that last player, but he already has scrims set up for when he does. So he's really doing a great job. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting times,
Absolutely.
And I have to add that, as you said, you had to start it over from the very beginning. You had nothing. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been like 3 weeks maybe since you started it. And it has been going hard on you. It's so amazing to see how much you have been able to accomplish on such a short notice. Just having all the people playing together and seeing all these people in your team getting together on a daily basis and playing just for fun and evolving, getting teamwork in there.
Absolutely.
It's really amazing. You have done a great job.
So
thank you. I do appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna throw in there. So esports, it's like its own growing industry, right? People are performing at a professional level with salary pay. They have the world championships for all sorts of them. League being one of the biggest ones, of course.
Yeah.
So what are all the games you currently have? I know you said League and CSGO. Currently, what do you have? And then what are you also trying to build at, or your future goals? What are you looking at for teams?
So right now, like I said, we have limited manpower on our team just because it's me and Taper. We just got third, and hopefully I'm assuming that, maybe we can make him have the manager, manage another team. But with how we have it right now, we're really trying to get this CSGO and Leagues team started, because what we said is when I first came into the role, what I wanted to do is I wanted to get this, like, some esports teams started for established esports, because that's the easiest way to really start teams.
Absolutely.
If it's because there's all those players out there, there's all those coaches, so that allowed us the easiest path to start these teams.
Absolutely.
And now the plan for the future is, what we want to do is we want to hit a game on an early curve of the popularity. It's like that is the best way to, in anything, not even just esports, in any aspect of life. When you hit something on that early curve and rise with the popularity, that's when you're really gonna go off on a game or something. So once we are able to get these two sports down and at least get some solid teams set up, that's when we're gonna look into where are the esports on the rise, what is up and coming in the esports world, and then at that point we're gonna try to hit that curve, get it early, and then hopefully we'll get a team just when it's spiking in that popularity. Then Impera will be on the front poster, baby,
So one I'd want to throw out to you as a quick tip, just to research into Star Wars Squadrons, which we're gonna research, or I'm sorry, we're gonna discuss that later on today. That just came out 2 days ago, and there's already tournaments being made, and that's gonna be what I believe will be the first esports game ever created for air combat and space combat. So that would be cool also to see happen. Wow. But we'll see what happens.
Something to look into, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
And one game I've seen rise on Twitch a lot, especially with our Tarkov player base, is Squad. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's been really coming up. I don't know if it's a game that's esports ready or even will ever be esports, just like Tarkov is. It's kind of hard to make esports, but that's something that me and Taper have been looking into personally, just to see if maybe we could catch the curve early on there. But yeah, we're definitely looking into esports that, could really grow, really pop off. So
100%.
I do appreciate that advice.
Yeah, and Squads is a good one to look into also because that actually just came out, like fully released, I think 2 weeks ago. It's been in beta ever since, so that definitely would be a good one to look into also.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust me, we've done our research on that guy.
There you go.
But
so what kind of plans and organization do you have to push the teams under you to the higher standards?
So first off, we're gonna have for each team, we're gonna try and make A and B teams. Just because one, that's going to push our A team to play better, and if we do need to fall back on our B team in case one of our A players has something come up in real life, that they can't perform, we have that B team to step up in the scrims or whatever, any tournament they're in. But we're also I talked with Devil a week or two ago. We're gonna try to, once we get some teams together, we're gonna be bringing in some professional players. Try to get some training for our players, even maybe our coaches.
Okay.
So that's the first plan we have in place. Get some professionals. Obviously we're going to be practicing ourselves a lot. Just so that we could get our players to that next level before we need to bring in outside help, because obviously Impera is not really specified in CS:GO or League. So we're definitely going to have to find outside help in terms of that. So
100%. So, on a side note of that, if anybody's interested and they're watching the stream per se, to join for esports within Impera, how would you recommend them go about getting in Impera's esports? What is your recruitment process?
Well, right now, to be honest, you hit me up on Discord, Dried Up Boy. I'm on our main Discord. You should be able to see me. I'm usually on. You could go ahead, send me a message. I'll look at whenever I'm free. If you want to join our management, you'll have to apply to Experior if you want to get into our management, but we're always looking for more people. And if you want to join the teams, like I said, message me. We are starting to set some rank requirements and stuff, and of course we like to see a little tryout first, but other than that, if you pass it, you're on the team. Because right now, like I said, we're still trying to look for players, really build our team. And especially since we're trying to get A and B teams, even if you don't think you have the rank, we might just put you on the B team. And it's like, even if you might be like a silver in CS:GO or bronze in League, there's a lot of improvements that can be made, especially if you're sitting on that B team watching the A team and what they do, So we're trying to openly accept a lot of players from different backgrounds and different ranks like that. So
absolutely. Stealthy Tiger, real quick, I want to say on behalf of Impera, thank you for the follow to the channel. So that's all the questions I have for the esports. Vivicus, do you have anything?
No, man. You're blowing my mind with all that info. I was like, dang.
Well, it is a pretty big world, so I mean the info's there.
They're saying it's esports in general is gonna be the next big thing, the next NFL. If that happens, who knows? But if we could hit that early curve, the more the merrier.
Yep, I'd love to see Impera on one of them world championship stages.
Oh, that's the dream right there, baby.
Yes, sir. How about you, Fireflies? Any questions for the esports manager over here?
I think he put everything very well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for speaking with us.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day, guys. All right.
You as well. You as well.
Have a good one.
All right. So that was Dried Up with the esports division. What do y'all think about all that?
I think it's amazing. As I said, I can't believe they have been able to do as much as they have on such short notice. And the team itself is doing really good, and I love the activity they have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Viv? What do you think?
Man, esports is so weird to me. I mean, not trying to give away my age or anything, but
I was just about to say,
for a video game to be a quote unquote sport or competition, right? Yeah, on this level, where you have people across, the world competing in a game, it's mind-boggling. You know, I
Yeah.
remember the first few games I played competitively online, not in the sense of in the sense of esports style, just generic, like, holy crap, I'm not playing somebody that's my Xbox is connected to your Xbox 4 feet away from me, but I'm playing on my PC or my computer and you are states away. Maybe you're in Europe somewhere. And I never would have thought back then, when some of the people watching this were born, that it would become a actual, like, internationally recognized competition where you have these teams, competing for prizes. And it really just makes me sad because they suck so bad at video games.
Well, what I think is
I
crazy.
play my games and stuff, but I'm just like,
What I think is crazy is I believe it was the last World Championship for League of Legends that actually took place, because I don't remember if one got canceled or not, had more viewers for that than any Super Bowl in history.
Yeah, that is correct.
Which that kind of blows my mind, because being from America, everybody's crazy about football and the NFL and all that stuff. Personally, I'm not as into it as others are, but still, knowing that League of Legends stomped on the viewers for the NFL, that's kind of crazy, but I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. But,
I mean, I remember when you had they had the big stages and everything. Back when everything was actually starting to go off into the esports section, it was just a small room kind of where computers were set up on each side of the room and they just had a battle. Now it's like big stages for like superstars and stuff where they have live people coming out doing intros and outros for the whole event, and then just watching. They built a big map in the middle of everything, showing where people were and everything. Yeah. It's amazing how much it has grown. And League of Legends, a game that people said would never hit the world stages.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they proved you wrong on that one.
And now they've made Valorant as well, which is a competitor to CSGO. I'm curious if that one's going to kick off as well, because a lot of people have said the same thing about it. So
yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah. So that's the esports that we were going to discuss. If anybody's interested in that, definitely drop a question in the chat. Viv, if we already have some, go ahead and throw it out.
The only questions I've seen are some people saying, are we going to do an interview like this with some streamers? That's a good idea.
Yes, we are. That we have done it in the past with Landmark from Escape from Tarkov, as well as Redvox. We are looking at getting back into that again and doing those big streamer interviews once again.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're also planning on trying to have big streamers like Landmark, for example, guesting us through a whole episode as well. Yep. So of course we can't promise anything, but we're really going to try it.
We will do our best to get some people on here. I have a few in mind. Again, if there's anybody y'all are interested in trying to see us bring on, drop the name in chat, because we'll happily do our best to get them to come on the show with us and talk about, what they play, why they play, get their full background, stuff that we'll try to answer the questions that people don't already know the answers to. That's kind of our goal with that. But yeah. Any other questions on there, Viv?
No, Guiham's had a comment, though. He said Valorant is actively dying due to lack of competitive potential. They weren't as dedicated to CSGO, and it's showing in the player base's frustration.
Okay.
And I think that goes with just the kind of game that Valorant is.
It could be.
I don't know. I just wasn't in love with the game.
I'm not saying what he said is untrue, because I, personally stopped playing it a while back after rank came out, and I realized the rank system initially was kind of broken. Yeah. But, if it is true, then maybe they'll do something to change it. A lot of games go through this dying process when they come out. Some of them survive it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, good. It's a good comment. It's a good point to bring up, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the next thing we're gonna move to is recruiting for Impera. We have two pieces of Impera left to talk about, both with the same person. So once we get through with this, we are going to jump into talking about some of the games right now that have big changes coming up, brand new games, hot, not, all that stuff. And again, if you have questions, comments, anything, drop them. We'll get to them. And yeah, so let's go ahead and pull Aqua on in here.
Aqua is coming here.
What's up, Aqua? Hello?
Where'd he go?
He's eating popcorn.
Ooh, I need some popcorn. Looks like he's gone. So
Howdy. How y'all
How's
doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can hear
Yes,
you
sir.
Alrighty. That's cool. Let me get my face up. No, I was just eating a little bit of pretzels.
Oh, that's what are you streaming or turning?
I think you hit the wrong button there.
Yeah.
Id I hit
Yep.
the wrong button?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you stream. Hopefully, nothing inappropriate. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Whatever you put on messed up the camera positions.
Oh, jeez.
Aw.
Just go ahead and disconnect and reconnect so we can fix that.
I'll
Also,
grab them.
Alright.
there we go.
Whoop.
Uh oh.
I dragged them both out. Kill
Uh
them.
oh. I'm sorry, guys. We're having a couple
Well,
technical difficulties.
Alright, operator error. Where'd he go?
There we go.
Oh, now we're back.
Alright. Yeah, I have a webcam, but I didn't know how to figure out how to make my face show up on there. So
You click the on button.
The video on the bottom left. There should be a video button you can hit, but we're not worried too much about that.
okay. Alrighty, so I'm here now.
It's trying to load. It's if you have your webcam open and anything else, it won't work. So I don't know if you got that going on. Bear with us,
Okay.
guys. A couple technical difficulties with this.
This portion of Impera is brought to you by Tiny Shrunken Drinking Heads. Your beverages taste so much better when you
There we
take it
go.
out of your victim's head.
Holy crap! Look at this dude looking all professional. All right,
Oh my god.
Ooh,
What's up, guys?
there we go, man. All right.
Impera.
How are you doing today, Dried Up?
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, not Dried Up. Aqua. How are you
It's
doing
Aqua.
today?
I am doing
Wow.
excellent, sir. How y'all?
Awesome. I have to say, I love the Impera pillow in the background.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So,
I'm feeling under
I've
dress.
never seen that pillow on your bed before when I've come over.
all right. So,
Vivi.
Aqua, you're in charge of the recruiting portion of not Tarkov, of Impera. Can you give us some details on that?
Okay, so basically what team recruitment does is we are in charge of going through different advertising venues, forums, the official game forums like Reddit, and posting advertised flyers, like flyers or advertisements, if you will.
Okay.
Including a Discord link. Our goal is, like Neville said, is to find those wanderers. What do you call them? Refugees, wanderers.
Refugees works.
And I really, the reason why I took on that responsibility of building the community as recruiting lead is I was once one of those people. And as a Tarkov centric gaming community, is that still fair to say that we're pretty Tarkov centric?
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
We-
say
we
that.
play
but
other
we are
games.
we
That's
are
right.
diverse. We're becoming more and more diverse as time goes on, I would say. But
Mhm.
you could say that.
Yeah.
A majority of our player base is still on.
Yeah,
Tarkov.
reaching out to those players that want really need a close knit and relaxed community, because I was one of them. I was in a previous Discord for, good lord, 5 years,
Mhm.
and when we started playing Tarkov, I guess it's just the stress in Tarkov. We fell apart. The people's toxicity came out, and when I came to Impera, it not only was Impera entirely Tarkov, it was like everybody was so mega chill, and I really fell in love with that. And I've been here for good Lord, about half a year now, and just loved everything that I've seen, and I really wanted to offer that to everybody else. That's why we've gone on. When I first joined, there was 1,500 people. We've doubled. We're approaching that 3,000 mark.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
Devil's at over 2,800 now,
Mhm.
which is a big number. So y'all been doing some work on the recruiting aspect.
Yes, I like to think of us as media team's most successful division. No offense to you guys.
No, I get it.
Keep the rivalry going.
We'll remember that, though. We'll remember that for the future.
I got you. But yeah, what we basically do is we post to forums like Reddit and game forums, and in the very near future, we are looking to collaborate with marketing team to start a paid advertising service. I have dabbled myself personally in Reddit, the advertising service on Reddit. There's multiples. There's Google. You can do YouTube and whatnot. But that's going to be the next big thing, take us to that next level.
Okay. So far you've mentioned the Reddits and the Googles. Currently, what platforms do you use for your recruiting the most?
Reddit, I would say now.
Okay.
It's been Reddit and the official Tarkov forums.
Okay.
We also have a member of team recruitment that is tasked to leagues, League of Legends, official forums, and we have several streamers affiliated with Impera that are representing, and we are getting here recently a lot of people in introductions mentioning them as so.
Okay. What your team? How many people does that consist of for doing this kind of work?
It's grown probably double in the past month. If you asked me about a month ago, I could have told you because it was like 4 people.
Mhm.
But there's probably 8 people on team recruitment.
Okay.
And we are each, well, what I try to do as lead is task each member to a particular forum or subreddit and have them basically in charge of that. Make sure there's posts going out at regular intervals, mix it up, make sure you update your headlines, your headers for your post, just outline why people would want to join Impera, active voice channel daily, max boosted Discord, these, welcoming to all players that are just going to run with you, and it's just, have a good time, no drama, no drama llama. So
Yeah.
that's.
So let me ask this: if people were either refugees that are, leaving another Discord due to toxicity, or there's people searching right now trying to find a long-term community to join into, what would you tell them to convince them that Impera is the way to go?
I would ask them how their previous community went, and I'm sure this is not just limited to the community that I used to be a part in. Everybody has those under stress that the game of Tarkov, how stressful it is. People tend to break down more that are not adapted to playing, and the people that I've met on Impera, and I think a lot of that has to do with our structure, the efficiency and speed of our HR department, and our overall structure. People feel like they're in a unit, a military unit, like a legionnaire, like a legion of players in Tarkov, and I think that makes them act a little better. But
I would vouch for that because I know myself. I was prime military. Vivicus was as well, so he may vouch for this as well. And the structure.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. The structure. The structure is in a way very military like. You're not going to have some of the issues you had in the military, obviously, because it's not the military. But I think that's also where a lot of the success has come from, is because it's easily defined of who to go to, what to do, where to do it, all that stuff. So that probably is a very good point that you're making. So yeah. Viv, do you have any questions to throw at him?
No, man. I'm just glad to see your face. That fancy clothes you got, and we're gonna talk about that pillow later.
I have to ask him, are you the guy on the commercial that's wearing the top half of the suit but not the bottom?
What's that?
Ooh.
Oh no, I got
stand up. Let us see the
I got
fan.
lenses on there.
All
And I
right.
got pants on.
There you go. I saw a commercial one time of a guy, he was wearing shorts under his suit for an interview. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he's doing that.
No,
I just-
he's on fleek.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Sane.
Yep. Aqua, I appreciate you coming to chat with us. Fire, did you have any questions for him as well?
No, not really. I'm just wondering why he's so dressed and we're not.
I don't know.
Well,
We are
I didn't mean to
underdressed.
show you guys up.
I mean,
I just
for
wanted
next
to.
episode, we all have to get a
Gosh, man,
tuxedo
you
now.
look
So-
Now you've gone and done it, Aqua. You have set the bar so high that every one of us need to get a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Oh man, don't do that.
So we do have one more thing to talk with you about. Is also Impera has a tutor program for Tarkov now. And
Absolutely.
from my understanding, you're in charge of that as well?
Yes, I am the Pontifex, our fancy Latin title for director of the Tarkov Tutors program. To really talk about Tarkov Tutors, let's first talk about what it isn't.
Okay.
Tarkov Tutors is not a raid carrying service. It's not a pay to win. You don't pay your tutor to go out basically as is on many RMT sites. You'll pay somebody who is, well, let's just face it, cheating, and they go out and carry you. This has nothing to do with that. What this is, Tarkov Tutors is a proprietary service offered by Impera that gives average Tarkov consumers, fair to middling players that play the game, that just can't seem to conquer Tarkov's super steep cliff-like learning curve, and they want and really need somebody to take the time to hands-on walk them through a raid, tell them what they need to do, have them. Good lord, that's a big cloud there, Firefly.
I'm sorry.
Tell them what to do. Tell them where the spawns are. The basic things that you pick up over a lifetime, or I would say lifetime, but years of playing Tarkov.
Absolutely.
And this is, I mean, the reason that I was so passionate about it and helping get this thing off the ground is this is a service. A year ago, dude, I would have jumped all over this. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Tarkov as it is, I mean, it's one of the hardest games, most hardcore, but most rewarding. And this is a service that I think will allow people to improve their gameplay for a reasonable amount of expense.
Yeah.
And if you wanted me to cover how exactly the process works, I mean, I can briefly go over that too.
Yeah, if you don't mind, kind of explain so people know. So you pay for it, and then, can
Okay,
you run us
so-
through?
Yes, so if you're interested in in a Tarkov tutor, first you would go to our Pick a Tutor. The program's currently in beta, but you would go to our Pick a Tutor channel in the main Discord, and you would find a tutor that you would think suited your needs. They each have introductions. They'll tell you a little bit about themselves and whatnot, and they have their stats there if you're interested in that as well. But then you would go to our, I can't remember what the channel name is called. I think it's Tarkov. Let me find it real quick so I don't missay this. Buy Impera points. That's exactly what it is. So you go and we have a bot set up. You would, I think it's bot $buy, and a bot will direct message you with instructions of how much Impera points you want to buy. The service is hourly. Each Tarkov tutor has a different rate, a rate that they've set themselves, and that you would have to buy off of our channel Impera points, and then schedule a session, at which point your Impera points will be deducted off your account and loaded onto theirs.
Okay.
So it's done entirely in-house for Impera.
Okay. So, a question a lot of people may have on this is, actually, it's going to be about the tutors, I would assume. So,
Yes.
how do people get selected to be tutors, and what qualifications do they have to have? Like, at what limit?
They have to meet a tripartite interview process. They have to fulfill to a satisfactory standard a written interview, a verbal interview, and a physical interview that me as Pontifex and our curator, team of curators, which are basically fancy way of saying tutor managers, and Devil himself have gone through this process. an overview of stats. There are minimum stat requirements you have to make. Time in game is very much in previous wipe experience. A written interview, a application, a verbal interview like we're doing face to face, and then a raid carry where I play as somebody who needs help, and if they are not satisfactory in their ability to teach or tutor a person, then they don't make the cut. But
Okay.
that's there. It's pretty rigorous. We have, as of now, 5 Tarkov tutors, or magisters they're called, a Latin term for teacher. But yes, we have 5 as of now. We're looking to increase that to give others variety. But yes, it is an extensive process, and they are all, I can personally vouch, they are all near gods at the game. You know, they're
Okay.
the guys on the team that's going to carry the team when 4 of your 5 men have died. You know, they're the guys.
Absolutely.
Maybe hire me a Tarkov tutor.
Vivi.
So I actually have the trailer that was made for the tutors. I'm going to play that right quick, and then we'll come back into this. So give us about
Alrighty.
20 seconds to play this. All right. So that's the trailer that was made to help advertise the Tarkov tutors. Who would you recommend to go and hire on a tutor? Like, at what point, brand new, pretty intermediate, at what level would you say somebody doesn't necessarily need the tutor?
Varying levels of experience, I would say. Definitely, if a person who is new to Tarkov, since there is like literally no tutorial in Tarkov when you get it, somebody who's interested in getting better, definitely. Would they go out there and pick the most per hour tutor that we have? No, but we have a varying range of tutors at different price points that will definitely help them, especially as a brand new beginner. Now you have people who are intermediate in skills. Like, I would consider myself intermediate. I'm not super good at the game. There's still maps and areas that I need to learn to really be good, to consider myself a well-rounded player. I believe that these players can really benefit from some of our higher echelon tutors. I mean, there's dudes that have been playing 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 hours in the game, and they know what's up when it goes down. If they are interested, if a player is interested in boosting his skill level to take himself to that next level, then this program is definitely for him.
Okay. So now the other question, and it probably ties into the one I asked about what it takes to become a tutor. So can you give a reason why people should go for this instead of go for a tutor they could hire off Fiverr?
I think that this not only is just some sort of isolated transaction, but this ties into all that what Impera offers as a community. This tutor, you'll see him and know him when he's running with the boys, but this is his personalized schooling of you, 100% in a professional capacity, dedicated to making you a better player. And when it's over with, and you have done and you've learned what you've learned, you'll go over it. You'll go over it together, and you will again play in the same community. And you'll keep. I think it gives you a better mark of how to keep track of your skills as you progress, versus a one and done like other skill services provide.
Absolutely. So, I think that also ties back into the rigorous qualification that it takes to become a tutor, because anybody can go on Fiverr and try to sell themselves as a tutor.
Exactly.
But going through a massive community like this should be reassuring, in my opinion, that there's a selection process. Otherwise, everybody would have that tutor tag.
Exactly.
So I definitely think that that y'all are on the right track with what you're doing with this, and I wish you all the best with it.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like to throw in that we didn't ask about, or anything of that sort?
No, you really covered all the bases. The only thing now left to do is market.
Understood.
Marketing is, as it goes, along with in recruiting for the general population, but this Tarkov Tutors program, it's really something that I think, especially as far as Tarkov goes, something that's really useful and viable.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Fireflies, did you have any questions for him?
Yes, one question. When it comes to the tutor itself, you said that the people could pick them and they could see the stats and that stuff. Do the people know what type of game style the people have? Like, are they really rushing, gunning? Are they tactical, more ratting as it's called? Do they know that?
Each of our tutors, actually, it's a good thing you mentioned this. Each of our tutors takes a personality quiz that was custom made by one of the staff. I believe it was Devil that made that. It's a multi-part, multi-answer question to different scenarios you would face in a game, and the tutor takes that exam, and it's posted on their Pick a Tutor page profile what play style they are. You know, there's Chad, there's tactical, there's kind of ratty or loot oriented. There's to get them to have the prospective student have a better grasp of what they're getting into, what's the personality of the type of tutor that they're going to choose. So yeah, that's glad you asked that.
That is a very neat thing to have there, so that some people are really wanting to be more Rambo style, running in, chatting around, as we say it in the Tarkov community. And some people really don't like that because they are afraid of dying or just doesn't get a good experience from it. So being able to choose a tutor to teach you in the same kind of playstyle as you want to be or you feel you are, that is a great option.
Absolutely. Viv, how about you? Any questions?
So I know that a few people have have purchased some time with the tutors, and I see that even a couple of our staff, including Hollywood, has done it. What is the current user review? How are people rating the current tutor system?
So far, it is still, I mean, I caveat this with it is still very, very early in the program to really get any mass consensus, like to average out your star views, or star reviews. But from what I have heard personally, it has been a success. People have been happy with the service that has been provided, and it has been everything that they have looked for.
Awesome.
But as we get more people going through this program, though, you'll get a better ratio of reviews.
Right.
To piggyback on that, do y'all have a location currently where people considering purchasing one can go and read the reviews?
That is actually a good question. I do not know currently at this stage of beta if we have those set up yet, but I'll definitely take that into consideration and make sure that we do.
Okay.
That a place that we can leave a review that people can read.
Okay. I mean, I've heard good things about from Hollywood, and there was one other person who has talked to me about the tutor, and they told me positive feedback. So I think
we're good friends. How about a discount?
No discount for you.
I really need a tutor.
All right. Well, did the chat have any questions for him? To include questions about the suit?
No questions. Nope.
All right, Aqua. Well, we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for your time. I know we talked for quite a bit. You're looking good in the suit. Do that next time we bring you on as well, because I think it looks good. I'll wear mine if you bring yours next time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. You as well.
Have a good one.
See you, Fireflies.
All right. So that was a pretty long topic that we talked about with the tutors. That was quite a bit.
That guy never got his mouth.
But the info, I think the info is great. I think getting that out to people to teach them what we have inside of Impera, regarding the tutor aspect is really helpful, because a lot of people I played with, random people, whatever, through other discords as well, they're not the best at Tarkov. I'm not the best at Tarkov, right? I'll just throw it out there.
Tell me about it.
But I think with the tutor program, it can help teach people the small mistakes that they're making a lot and what's causing them to lose gear. It might help them get over gear fear as well, because that's a problem a lot of people have. But I think it's a great program, and depending on how Tarkov keeps evolving and changing through time, it might become an even bigger importance. Once the streets of Tarkov hit and whatnot, that people may want to consider that. But we'll see what happens in the future with that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the Tarkov program is so much more than just learning the game. You're really getting an experience, and you're gaining friends to play with.
Absolutely.
On and off, sometimes outside of the tutor program as well. And doing so, you're kind of investing in your own progress, your own fun. If you want to do it just the few hours you can, or you're playing most of the day, it doesn't really matter. You can always learn something. But
Absolutely.
at the same time, you're also helping Impera as a whole, as some of the money that goes into buying the Impera points actually helps us being able to evolve and get more content out there for the general community. So it's a great way of supporting us as well.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's go ahead and bring in Hollywood. It's time for the first drawing for the prizes.
We're actually
I wonder what they're
forgetting
gonna
about
draw.
the events
I hope it's
team.
like a phoenix or some
Say
other
that-
cool bird.
Say that one more time. We're figuring out what.
We have events still.
Oh, we do. Okay, I apologize. Thank you for correcting me there. Let's go ahead and bring up Lighter. There's one last division we do need to discuss for Impera.
Yes,
Gosh,
he is
it's-
coming.
I forget about lighter.
Welcome, Lighter.
There we go.
How you doing, man?
So how you guys doing?
We're good.
I'm
How are
good.
you?
I'm good.
Awesome. All right, so you're in charge of the events division within Impera.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you? So, tell me about that. Tell me about your job, your team, and kind of what y'all do with organizing events.
So basically we try to do maybe 1 or 2 events a month for the Impera community. We try to get as many members in there as possible. And it usually, it brings everybody together. It's usually a good time. And there are prizes at the end of it. Whether that be Impera merch, you can get a hoodie, t-shirt, or maybe a Steam gift card, stuff like that.
Okay. So, how often? You said once or twice a month. I know Hollywood also said he's normally seeing
Yeah.
twice a month. And y'all do that for all the games pretty much going on within Impera that we're involved in?
Yeah, mainly Tarkov actually, but I think we were working on a Valorant tournament.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna do maybe a Rainbow. We've had a few ideas for it, our 6th tournament, but I don't know. We'll see. Because
Okay.
that's not a very popular game in our Discord. But mainly Tarkov events actually.
Understood. So everything else is pretty much in the creative process currently.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So right now, what events? I believe I know of one, maybe 2 events. Again, I'm not 100% on your division on what y'all have going on. But what do y'all have right now being developed or in the idea process?
So right now we have a Halloween event coming up. We have a few ideas for that set in stone. We have a few that could be very high possibility of being done. We have a few that are done. And we have a upcoming event that I think was just announced tonight, the Impera Blood Brawl,
Okay.
which is really cool. There's 5 people on a factory map in Tarkov, and it's a 1v1. So you're gonna have yourself vapes. You're gonna be streaming the event,
Mhm.
and there's gonna be 2 people guarding for scavs, and then you guys are gonna use shovels to fight each other, and it's a tournament. And so the finals is gonna be best of 3, and the winner gets his own role. I think it's a Minotaur, and his own name, and he also gets to choose between Impera merch, so you can get like that hoodie that you saw dried up with, or you
Absolutely.
can choose $25 Steam gift card. I would choose the merch because I'm pretty sure that's worth more actually than $25 Steam gift card.
I think the hoodie's like
For sure.
$40. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a really nice hoodie too. Um,
absolutely.
and then second place, I think it's the role Centaur.
Okay.
And you get your own custom role and name, stuff like that. So
Awesome. So again, this is going to be a big melee tournament with melee weapon shovel, you said. And it's literally going to be a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it
All
should
right.
be a lot of fun. I think it's definitely going to appeal to the more hardcore and competitive members of Impera. From my experience personally playing, a lot of the players in the Impera community are very competitive.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a blast, and I think a lot of people are going to be hyped for it.
Awesome. So with that tournament and the others that you do, normally how far in advance do you have to register for it?
So right now, it's going to be about like 2.5, maybe longer weeks for registration.
Okay.
We just announced it, I think, an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago. Not sure how long the podcast or Impera Show has been going on.
About an hour and a
But
half.
yeah, you should have about like 2.5 weeks to register,
Okay.
which I think is plenty of time. We're probably gonna have around maybe 16 to 32 brackets. I have no clue. Depends how many people sign up.
Absolutely.
But I think we're shooting for 16. That way, it doesn't take multiple days. It can be knocked out in one day. You don't have to sit there all day. But yeah, it should be a blast.
Awesome. And then, so pretty much anybody even watching this could join Impera. And this is just to let everybody know. You could join Impera and get in on this tournament or any others coming up. There's no other requirements as long as you're being, a member of Impera.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's pretty
if
cool.
you have Escape from Tarkov and you're in the Discord, you can sign up and you have a chance to win $25 or merch, your own name, everything like that, and you can also have fun just beating people with shovels.
There you go. So, and then did y'all have anything else that's in the works yet? Fireflies, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
It's okay.
So yeah, the Halloween event, we aren't 100% certain on what we're gonna do. We have an idea for sure. Maybe if Tarkov actually does a Halloween event themselves, we could do something around that.
Okay.
So
it's in creative process still?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Fireflies, what did you have?
No, I was just going to say that this event to me is like it's more of like a gladiator battle thing. It doesn't really come down to tactics or knowing guns and all that since it's shovel. So I think, and with the game itself, you don't really get into melee combat. So I think that it doesn't matter if you have played the game for 3,000 hours or 3 hours. You know what to do with a shovel.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. So really, anybody stands a chance in this tournament.
Oh yeah. And
anybody can win.
And I mean, it could be so easy to get one lucky hit right in the knob, and down he goes. So anyone can win. You never know the outcome of it before someone is dead. It's a blood-off.
Yeah. So we'll just keep an eye out. Anybody interested again joining Impera, always keep an eye out in the events section. So these guys come up with events all the time. That way, if you're interested in joining, you can do it. It's definitely worth the rewards, worth the fun, and it builds a community. That's another thing I love about it, because I bet you'd agree that when we do these events, every single time the community just gets closer and it has a little bit tighter knit to it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and if any of you guys want to go check out the Impera merch website to see, the choices you could have if you won.
Yeah, Viv, can you drop that link again?
I just did.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Does anybody have questions in the comments, or either you?
No, there's no.
One question I think that could be interesting for the people watching is kind of how do the process of making an event go? Do you take the responsibility to make sure that we go with this event, or is it more a team thing that you decide on? How do that process work for you?
So Usually, you know, I'll contact a few of our members in the event team. Like we have Zane, Neo Viper, Price Diaz. These are all names you guys probably know if you're in the Discord. We'll contact them and we'll ask them to brainstorm some ideas for the event, and maybe give them like a general kind of line to follow. You know, kind of general direction for how we want the event to be done. And then they will pitch ideas to either myself or Fireflies, you, because you are my division lead, and we will decide on one usually. And then after we've decided on an idea, we tend to set a deadline for whenever we want all the details of the event worked out. And I make a to-do list and make sure check everybody's availability, and we usually get to work on it. And almost every time we usually don't have to worry about you know, being too late past the due date and stuff like that. Usually it all gets done. And if somebody isn't available or isn't necessarily, you know, have the most open schedule, myself, Fireflies, Neo Viper, any of us, we're willing to pick up the slack. We have no problem with that. As long as they just come to us, you know, we will do it for them. It's not a big deal at all. So,
Understood.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you guys have been doing a great job. I mean, as Hollywood mentioned, we have had 2 events every month, and we are always, from my understanding at least, we're always going for at least 1 event every month. So sometimes the event is a longer event where, for example, we had the wipe event where it was an event during the whole wipe event from Battlestate Games itself. So sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, depending on how long they are. We go with either 1 or 2, maybe more in the future. It depends.
Awesome.
yeah, and this event is the Blood Brawl. It's launching October 25th, so should be fun. I think that's on a Saturday or Sunday. I think it's weekend for sure. So
It's a
hopefully
Sunday.
everybody who Sunday? Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody who registers will be able to make it and compete. And if not, if anybody didn't register and they want to join, they want to fill in the spot in the bracket, I'm sure they'll be welcome to. But that shouldn't be a problem because you'll know in advance. So.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate having you here with us, and thanks for all the
Yeah.
information you're sharing, as well as the details to it all. So,
Thanks, Frosty.
Have a good night,
Alright.
guys.
Good night.
yeah, you as well.
Have a good night.
All right, so the event's coming up. What's up, man?
What?
So we got the events coming up, the Blood Brawl, plus a possible Halloween event, depending on what's going on there. So that'll be fun. If interested, again, we got the link in the bottom left of the stream. It's discord.gg/Impera. If you also need a link just to copy and paste, I'm sure Viv could type that up in the chat for us. But yeah, so
Yeah.
as you see in the title, we are doing a giveaway today. So it's time for the giveaway. 1 of 3. This is the 3rd place winner here, so it's not the biggest prize.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. All right. So let's go ahead and pull Hollywood in here.
Yeah.
Yoink.
Welcome back, Hollywood.
Where's your beautiful face?
There it is. All right, Hollywood. How you doing? I know we had you on here like an hour ago, but you're back. Welcome.
How's it going? You ready to get this number
Yes.
generated?
So hold on. We got to do this the right way.
Feeling shit, baby.
Okay. We have currently, without duplicates of multiple reactions entered, we have 82 people. Okay. So 3 people today will win. First place is now. Or I'm sorry, 3rd place is now. 2nd place later on. 1st place winner will be at the end. So let me find where this is at real quick. Go ahead and start pulling the number up.
Aw, gee.
Drum
Alright,
roll.
You're ready to go.
All right. I'm ready if you're ready.
That's good. Can I get a drum roll? There we go.
Do I need to get on the drums to do it?
You want to?
No.
Oh shit!
I
You
go say
actually
no.
would drum roll. No,
All
you
right, the
suck.
number is 50.
50. All right.
50 or 15.
50.
50.
5-0.
5-0.
Cooper
All right. Phobos is our winner.
Oh, congratulations,
Phobos.
Phobos.
Wait, isn't
Yes, sir.
that
That's our new
new
experience.
person in HR?
He is in
Oh.
marketing. He is new in marketing. Yup.
The
All
dark
right.
side.
Hollywood, do me a favor. Jot down Phobos' name as third place. Phobos, you have just won. ... Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot.
What the fuck's a dot dot dot?
I'm trying to get to it.
Oh,
He's
Trying his
his
hardest.
ball,
He's
guys.
trying his hardest.
Phobos, you have won $25 in Impera merchandise. So whatever you want for $25 is yours off the Impera merchandise store. I will get in contact with you as soon as we're done with the stream, as well as the other winners we draw later on, to let y'all know how we're going to go about getting this merchandise to you and what we're going to do. So congratulations, and we still got 2 more drawings, so everybody stay tuned, and we'll get to those. All right, so that's drawing 1 complete. So now we are going to go into our first game discussion, which is going to include Tarkov as our first game. Surprise. So Hollywood, I'm going to ask you to go bye-bye, and then we'll bring you back in.
Yeah.
Take care, boys.
Yes, sir.
later.
All right, let's go ahead and get Devil back in here so we can... Was it Devil? No. Devil wasn't doing Tarkov. That was you. You're doing
That's
Tarkov,
me.
Fire. Sorry. All right.
That's-
So Tarkov,
Yeah.
I'm going to let Fireflies lead our Tarkov review. And then review of the patch notes. I'm sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. I had to think about what I was saying. So Fireflies, it's on you whenever you're ready. Just take it away. What we got new coming out in 12.8.
Yes, so the patch notes were a lot of them, but we wanted to kind of narrow it down to the ones that we felt was most interesting. So basically, we're going to go through all of them to begin with, and then we're going to discuss some of them after. So the things we found most interesting is that there are going to be 2 new skills added to the game, which are crafting and hideout management. They have also added the compass, which has been long waited for. There's going to be a new bleed system, which means that we're going to have 2 types of bleeds. One is called heavy bleed, and the other one is a normal bleed. We have some new consumables: the S-Mark tourniquet, the hemostatic syringe, and the fast beverage. The first 2 of them are to be used against the heavy bleeds, as you can no longer just use a IFAC. There's also a very long-awaited hotkey, which is the fast backpack dump. So you can now drop your backpack without having to go into the inventory and drag it out. There has been added tons of new vest rigs, backpacks, headphones, and all that stuff. Everything is still level 6 armor, but some changes. There has been some additional features to the flea market that has been like a headache for a long time, but some of the kinks have now been sorted. There is a new warning system when you exit the game if you have your power on in the hideout, so you don't forget to turn it off if you want to do that. Sorting has been added to the game so that you can now sort your bags and your whole inventory in the stash. There's a new high quality color option that is going to be on at default that you can turn off for a better performance but some less visual image quality. Weapons way has been added to scavs, so no longer are they going to be sidestepping and shooting straight at you. Raiders have now been changed to the point where they are actually attacking both AI scavs and the player scavs, so no longer can you run up to a raider and shoot him in the back of the head without getting shot at first. There has been some changes to how stims and some medical items work when it comes to removing contusion effects. We also have a big change to some sheath tactic, which is that you can no longer use a friend to shoot in the arm, for example, to level up stress resistance. So body hit skills that you have to hit a body or get hit to progress, you can no longer do that with a team member. They have also changed that if you're blinded, you will always use the fast reload, so you will drop your mag on the ground but load faster. It's not going to be optional, it's always going to happen. They have decreased the damage radius of the grenade launcher, which is great if you ask me. They have changed some quests, for example, the Tarkov shooter. Previously, you had to use a Mosin for that quest line. Now you can use any bolt action gun. That does mean that you can still not use, for example, an SKS or an SVDS, but for example, you can now use an M700. To unlock Jaeger has been changed. You can now accept the quest to unlock Jaeger after Gunsmith Part 1, and Gunsmith Part 1 has been lowered to level 2. So if you're level 2, you will be able to pick that quest up from 12.8. The player spawns on reserve have been reworked, so the PMC spawns are going to be a little bit more varied, because currently they have been very grouped together. There's going to be more spread from what I understand. Scav players will now not spawn at the beginning of the map on reserve. There has been a long problem with it that player scavs spawn before the 35-minute mark and all of that. So that has been changed. They're now going to spawn in later during the gameplay. And for the last thing that I think everyone is kind of wondering, there has been rumors about it for a long, long time. Nikita has stated that there will not be a wipe during 12.8. It is probably going to be during 12.9 or 13.0, sorry. And also, unfortunately, due to Corona, they have been set back when it comes to Streets of Tarkov. So Nikita stated in his last podcast that Streets of Tarkov will be postponed till next year, unfortunately.
That's a bummer.
We still have, it's a real bummer. So we have to wait a little bit more for Streets of Tarkov, but hopefully by the time Streets of Tarkov comes out, most of the kings have been worked out already, and maybe some new goodness have been added to it as they have a much longer time to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the most important things, according to me at least, when it comes to the patch notes. There are tons of more patch notes, so if you really want to watch them, I'm going to drop a link in the stream in just a short little while for you to read if you want to.
Sounds good. So I want to talk about a couple of these, if you're cool with that, Fireflies.
Yeah.
So we'll just go down kind of the list, right? So the number one, I think a big help that they're changing is they're adding that compass to show directions. Because, you know, when I'm playing with my guys, our Batavi squad, which, if y'all don't know, in Impera, we have what's called Batavi squad. It's kind of like our elite group that focuses on tactical realism play. So we're Chads, I guess you could say. Some of them are more ratty than chatty, but it's about surviving with your entire team and getting out, getting as many kills as you can. Typically, it's not about the loot runs. It's about owning the map and ruling it, being the kings of the map. So when we're playing with our Batavi squad, we try to use, you know, northeast, southwest, your cardinal directions. And on some of the maps that we're not as familiar with, or that one person's not as familiar with, that often causes trouble. So now that we're getting the compass, that's going to significantly change how it's played, because these callouts are going to get so much easier to use. What do you think about that, Viv? Viv, are you here? Your mic's not working, Viv.
Is it working now?
Yes, it is. There you go.
It's gonna be great. I one of my many people who have played this game with me, you included, Vapes. Everybody knows how much I love the call out. Oh God, a guy's over there.
There will be no more.
There.
He's right here.
Yeah.
Where's here? In front of me.
And and my love for the misunderstood chest symbols on reserve are no longer going to be an issue, because you can just say the building to the north, the building to the west.
Yeah.
So
adding some information to this from the last podcast that Nikita had, he showed an actual short video of this. So previously, when they were mentioning it, it was more like you had to lift it up and you had to see through the little crack and stuff. They realized that it would be too tedious and it wouldn't be used that way. Mm-hmm. So they added animation that you're taking out the compass. Still looks fantastic. But in the lower right corner, you're going to have numbers. So kind of indicating where the degrees that you're looking at currently. Yeah. So that is going to really help, because me, for example, I never learned northwest, southeast on any map because they change so much depending on what map there is. Mm-hmm. Usually, for example, customs, people usually went with, well, north is storms and south is the new area.
Yeah.
But that's not correct in a way. So this is really going to help everyone get on the same page, no matter if you're really new to the game or if you're really advanced in the game.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great addition that should have been in the game already.
Oh yeah, I think that's the biggest thing they're adding, in my opinion, of what's going to be most beneficial. The new bleed. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly.
I mean, the new bleed is actually pretty interesting because, from what I understand, you have the normal bleeds, which are kind of like the ones we have right now, but they're going to go away on their own. Sometimes they're going to go away on their own, and it's going to be like sometimes it takes a couple of seconds, sometimes it takes a couple of minutes before they go away, but you're not really going to bleed the way you do today.
Yeah.
But if you get shot with a heavy bleed, then you're going to be like hemorrhaging.
Absolutely.
You're spurting blood all over the place. And they actually showed a small video showing that you would leave a blood trail. So if you shoot someone and they start running away, which they usually do, and you kind of lose them, if you know kind of the direction they went from and where they went to, then you will be able to find blood trails on the ground and everything. So you can kind of figure out where they went again.
This game is going to turn into its own bloodbath.
Yeah, and with that, we have the two new consumables, which is the F-Smart Tourniquet and the Hemostatic Syringe. Mm-hmm. It didn't really go into which one was the better of them, but from what I understood on Nikita is that the Tourniquet is going to be like a temporary. It's going to be a little bit faster, but with a downside. And the Hemostatic Syringe is going to be the more better one with a little shorter, a little longer duration to apply, but instead it's going to be more usable.
Yeah. So the next thing is also the fast backpack. Now, I don't think there's too much we need to hit on this, just because it's a new keybind that they're adding. Yeah. I do think people are going to enjoy it, because that is a strat a lot of people use. If you're carrying a lot of gear or anything like that, double tap it and you start getting shot at, it's now on the ground, you can move again. That's going to be very useful. It might also be useful for the people strength training. I know Viv and I, we were running on Shoreline. Ran across the guy that was carrying 2 car batteries. Yeah. And he was so easy to take out because he was so overweight. But, if they can see you coming, and they double drop that backpack, now they got a fair fight to go with. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I kind of, they showed on the stream as well that doing it the normal way, you kind of walking, waddling around, and then you have to go into the inventory, throw it away. Even if you used like the delete key to throw it instead of dragging it, it still took a couple of seconds. But double tapping the Z key, it was on the ground and you could run freely again. So how many times haven't we gone into a firefight where we were so weak we couldn't run at all, and we get kind of overrumpled. You don't have time to go into the inventory and do that stuff. You kind of left out to your fate, basically. So
Yeah.
now you won't have that problem. Now you can just double click, drop it, and run away.
Mm-hmm. And then
And
the
take
new
flight.
the new warning for in the hideout, I lost so much fuel from forgetting I
Oh,
turned
yeah.
it on. That's gonna be nice. Well, the weapon sway, I'm happy about, because now we're not gonna be fighting, well, if it's to the raiders as well, it's gonna be nice because they can laser you already. So I think that's gonna make a big difference. Stims and medical items to remove contusions. Thank God, because I don't think there's anything that can remove them currently. Is
No.
there?
Currently in the game, there's nothing
Yeah.
that can remove contusion.
I
So
think
now, from what I understand, painkillers and all that is going to take it away.
Yeah, I think the blinded mag reload is nice because in a way, it's probably a little more realistic because you're gonna either unload really slow, or you're gonna just drop that mag and slam your next one in. So
Yeah.
I can see why they did that to an extent. I don't think it's bad. I think it's gonna add just one more thing you'll have to think about if you survive whatever fight you're in.
Yeah. The thing I thought was kind of sad was that they didn't go over if let's say you get flash but you don't get like the bright white screen, you just get like a little sun flare. They didn't go around if this effect is still going to be on at that point, because you can still kind of see everything. It's maybe a little bit darker on the screen, and that sun flare, but you're not blind. They didn't mention if you would still do the fast reload, but
Yeah.
I guess we will have to see.
Yeah. And then the damage radius from the grenade, the GL40, that's nice, because currently I know there's a lot of bugs still with the grenades as well, where you be on the other side of a metal wall and it's still going to kill you. Because that happened to me. Zane ended up throwing a grenade, and it killed me through the wall. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think that someone mentioned, I think it was Pestle who mentioned it, that the grenade launcher could kill you from like almost 15 feet away from the actual blast zone.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic that you die from it, but you would get wounded. I can see that. But you should be able to survive that impact because it's not C4, it's a grenade.
Yeah.
So getting wounded, getting some like damage to you, I understand that, but completely outright dying, no. I think it's and since it's a game, Tarkov is really brutal as it is. So I think this addition, lowering the actual blast radius, is going to be good. It's still going to be usable, but it's not going to be people running in with only grenade launchers and grenades and killing 5-man outright. I don't think so.
The reworked player spawns will be interesting on reserve. I can't wait to see what those are because I play a lot of reserve.
Yeah, it's really going to mess with the people who are so used to it right now, because you don't have to play for a long while before you know that you're in between spawn points or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to pick up on.
Yeah. Not wiping 12.8, that is a pretty big deal to an extent, depending on how long they have between 12.8 and 12.9. So that one we'll kind of just have to see as we go along,
From what I understood on Nikita is always like, he's so mystical about things. He's always like soon, and all that stuff. So when people ask around when can we expect to see 12.9, he was kind of like, well, 12.8 is soon, so soon. I would say maybe kind of around the end of this year, start of next year-ish. So I think that seeing as we are now into the 4th month of this wipe, I think it's kind of normal standard point to be seeing a wipe in December sometime.
Yeah. And then the Halloween event. So I'm curious on what they're doing with that. Do you think it'll be the same as back in 2018 where they added the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin?
I don't know. I think that they will still add it back into the game so it's on the loot table, because currently you can't find it. You can find it through some random event in a in a hidden stash and stuff, but you can't actually buy it or get it another way. So I think it will be more abundance during the Halloween just because they have it already.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see some more addition to it, like let's say adding crazed gas running around with knives or whatever, looking bloody and just chasing you. It's gonna make that fear effect on you, kind of Halloween themed.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we got for Tarkov, guys. In the future shows, we are going to be spending a lot more time on each game. The reason we're not doing as much tonight is we're already looking at almost a 2-hour stream. And, we've just gotten to the game. So, in the future, these discussions on each game and the patch notes and everything will take up quite a significant more time. But we're just trying to get you the critical information right now that we think is important for these, and then discuss the other ones that we have as well coming up. All right.
Yes.
So let's move on to the next one. Let's go ahead and pull Devil in here so we can interview Devil again.
We just have him in there. Welcome back, Devil.
Woo!
Hello.
How you doing, man? I know we talked to you about an hour, but things can happen in an hour. How you doing?
Heck yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about New World now. Okay? So it recently had its beta, or was it alpha? Beta? Alpha?
And we're back.
It was a closed beta, I believe, right? Devil, the recent New World review.
Yeah,
test.
closed beta.
Okay. And you played that. So from your experience, can you give me a 2-minute summary of the game?
Sure. You got it. Am I coming through clean before I start
Yep.
blabbering and it's all laggy?
Yep, you're good.
So it was a closed beta, like Viv said, and this one is actually not under NDA. A lot of the other ones have been under a non-disclosure agreement. So this was, I believe, the first beta that they've released that was not under NDA. So a lot of streamers were playing it and stuff like that. I think that was about a month ago. I don't know the exact date. But going into this, I guess I do want to disclaim that I'm not a very big MMO guy. I haven't really gotten into WoW or some of the other very name brand MMOs. So that being a disclaimer, as a longtime gamer, I think overall I really enjoyed the game and I had a blast. Of course, it's an MMO, so I think probably the best aspect of the game is, the huge open world and the ability to really do anything. Walking from one side of the map to the other, probably about 30 minutes to get from one side of it, which is probably the size of Skyrim, right? The most recent Elder Scrolls.
Awesome.
If not a little smaller, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too they're planning on adding more areas as well as a naval system, so you'll be able to take ships around and stuff, which would be pretty rad. Yeah.
And I'd expect them to expand on a game like that as well.
Yeah. So the one main thing that they were really talking about adding to the game is just more content, right? They weren't talking about changing too much, but they add more weapons, more quests, more territory, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess getting into the specifics a little bit, the quest system was pretty cool, a little bit repetitive, but again, with the whole content thing, they're planning on adding more. But there was a solid variety and so many places to do these cool quests that everything felt a little individual. You do some quests in a swamp, some quests in a desert, pretty cool stuff like that.
Okay.
There was a advanced crafting system, advanced attribute system. Combat system was wild.
Can you kind of explain the combat system so we can kind of get an understanding on how that works? Because it looked a little different than stuff like WoW or Guild Wars or...
Sure. Yeah, so there's still your abilities, right? Like typical to an MMO, but it's not like keyboard, and there's not as many. So I think they're trying to target, having only 3 to 6 abilities rather than a game, like WoW or some other big MMO.
Yeah.
Where it's you're running 20 plus abilities on a character. But that being said, there was. Am I still coming through clear? You can still hear me?
Yeah,
fine?
you're good. You're good.
Okay, awesome. There were all sorts of weapons. There's a two-handed weapon. A hatchet was a weapon where you can like throw it or swing with it. Muskets. They just have so much potential because the world that they're going for is kind of like influenced by history, like with muskets and stuff like that. But you also have stuff like staffs of life and staffs of fire, where there's like a crazy magical element to it and everything. So pretty dynamic, pretty fluid.
So, if I understand correctly, do they have like a class system? Like you have mages, you have warriors.
So no, so they don't have classes, and they don't really have any of the other typical tropes to RPGs in that like character creation sense. But they do have. So how it works is you'll level up a weapon, and then you'll undergo a pretty serious skill tree for that weapon, which kind of determines your class, right? Did that all come through properly?
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so like if you want to, you can kind of make your own class in that sense. If you want to play a cleric, you can take life staffs and one-handed warhammers, or if you want to play like a rogue, you can take bows and daggers, for example.
Okay. That's cool. I like the sound of that. It's simple, but it sounds also not simple, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yep.
So that's nice. So let me ask this one, because this is a big factor. I know it was only the beta, but in that sense, did the game feel alive within its own community? So while you're online, the environment and everybody.
So can you define alive? Do you mean like how the experience was just in general, or
is it okay? Let me put it like this: is it a game you knew you were playing online with people, and you saw them and you interacted with them, and they did their own thing, or they helped you, or was it one of those where it's kind of like you're almost on your own until you have to go into a dungeon or something with a party?
Okay. Yes, I actually, that's a really good question, because I've never really thought of like an MMO as being alive, but that really is one of the strongest parts of any MMO or online role-playing game. No, absolutely it was, right? You go to a city and you see people chopping down trees, or you see people running to the blacksmith to make their armor. You can see them put on the armor. You can interact with people. They had a voice over IP in the game too, so people are running around talking to each other.
Okay.
If someone fires the musket shot on a hill and you're in a canyon, it'll echo like you're in a canyon. Like
Wow.
It'll echo all the way through the canyon. It's pretty cool. So no, yeah, definitely, it certainly felt alive.
That's good to hear,
so-
because some games that kind of is on the lacking end. So it's nice to hear that it's feeling alive. What do you got, Fire?
And
For sure.
The whole VoIP thingy, like that's really interesting to me. How would you say that the community kind of is in the game during your brief time in the beta? Was it like a friendly community, or was people running around being toxic on VoIP? And
Well, it was a beta, so people were really having fun. Everyone was running around. Some people were like dancing on wells in the center of town and stuff like that. But when the game actually releases, I would expect a lot more people are going to be serious. Like, hey, I'm recruiting for my guild, running around, or join my guild, or I'm trying to sell this staff of life. It'll be 500 copper, or whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
I would expect it would be a little more serious.
Okay.
But yeah, no, naturally, voice over IP has the potential to be dangerous and influence toxic. So yeah, it would be interesting to see where that goes.
yeah.
Yep. Hopefully they
Naturally,
have,
too, you can just disable it, right?
Yeah. Hopefully they have good admins and GMs or anything, whatever you want to call it, that are
For sure.
monitoring it all. Which I don't doubt they will. This because this is made by Amazon, right?
It's Amazon, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure they have the budget to do so.
Absolutely. So what is something positive that you really enjoyed about the game?
Okay. Well, I really like that alive question. So going back to that, I really like the overall ambience of the game. I like that everything felt it was kind of natural. Kind of talking about like the musket thing again. Just the landscape, the way the landscape interacts. Oh, too, like if someone's swinging a pickaxe and hitting a rock, as you walk away, you'll hear the Doppler effect, and you'll hear it like kind of bounce off the trees. Like the sound was freaking fantastic.
That's amazing. honestly.
I think that really, yeah, just the whole ambience and the sound of the game. Yeah, man, it struck
My-
a chord with me.
One of my favorite things in games is the level of audio for how detailed they can get with it. So
For
if,
sure.
if that's what you're saying is like 10 out of 10, then I definitely will be trying that game out because I love good audio.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah, I loved it. I had a blast.
I find the whole game kind of funny. I didn't know what New World was at all. I had never heard of it, never seen anything about it, and then I just watched it on our Discord and saw that it was apparently a game, and I was like, "What? How am I missed this?" It looked really interesting, and to me,
Yeah.
it really seems to have like. There's a lot of people in MMOs and everything that really likes the role-playing aspect of it, and with VoIP and all that stuff, and you need to cut down trees, you need to gather materials for armors and stuff. It really feels like you can make this to a really good role-playing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and specializing into something with that aspect too is just so great. Like being able to declare like I'm a lumberjack or I'm an armor smith was pretty cool.
So what is something, it doesn't have to be negative, but what's something that you didn't really enjoy or you didn't like about it?
Yeah, the low amount of content, right? But
Okay.
I mean, it's because it's a beta.
Absolutely.
Whenever the game releases, it's gonna be done, right? So, and that's the one thing that they said they were gonna fix too, is the low amount of content. So,
Which that's understandable as well. I totally get that.
for sure.
Did they have an expected date? Did we find that at all?
I think it's spring of next year is where they're
Okay.
shooting for. It was supposed to be this year, but then Corona hit and everything, so it got pushed back. So I think
Gotcha.
Wait,
spring
I
of
think I
next year. Yeah.
saw that is this
So,
25th?
okay.
Oh, nice.
So, who would you recommend it for? And on a scale 1 to 10, even with it being beta, that considered, where would you rate it?
Yeah. I mean, everyone. It's super accessible. It seems like they tried to make it accessible to not only PC players but console players as well, which is great. Because it kind of simplifies everything. It's not super in depth. You don't need to be an MMO master to learn the game. With that being said, too, it had a lot of depth, like I explained with the skill trees and with the very specialized crafting. It allows you to really specialize and individualize into a specific niche if you want to. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend it to everyone. And considering it's a beta, I mean, it's hard to give it a rating. But I don't know. I'd put it somewhere around 8 right now if they continue on the path in which they're going. But that being said, they could, I mean, anything could happen. It's in beta. It could really mess up.
Okay. And that's fair as well. All right, man. Well, that's all we have for New World. Is there anything else you'd like to throw out about it, if you have anything?
Great. No, other than I'm really excited for it.
Awesome, man. Viv or Lighter Fire, do y'all have any questions?
No questions. I just feel like this game is the big problem with MMORPGs overall is that most people around our age just can't really be really time consumed by a game. So I just hope that this game is going to be approachable for people who want to do the casual gameplay as well. That's my big hope for it.
Understood. I don't like to play casually, but I understand the approach. What you got, Viv?
There you go.
I have a question for you, Double. Back on the crafting. Did the crafting seem to be really like unique to the fact that if you were doing crafting, it's almost as if that's kind of your primary role in the game? Or is it more like anybody could pick up a style of crafting?
Sure. No, I think that's an important question. But no, I think that it's certainly, and this kind of goes on Firefly's topic too, because it's accessible to everyone. And it can be casual or it can be really competitive. If someone puts in the amount of time needed to specialize in two things like armor smithing and making furniture for houses, which are two very different things in the game, require different materials. You need steel and leather and oil, I think, to make certain armors, and then you need like high tier woods and linens for furniture. So very different things. You're chopping down trees, you're farming fibers for one. You're going out to the swamp to mine oil for the other thing. It can be very different. But that being said, there's nothing to stop you from putting in the time to get specialized in multiple things. If that makes it, someone with 50 hours a week to put into the game versus someone with 5 hours a week to put into the game.
Right.
The 50-hour guy is naturally going to be more specialized in different things more than the 5-hour guy. If that
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
Cool.
Awesome.
Looking forward.
All right, Devil. Well, that's
All right.
that's the questions we had. Thanks for being with us today. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
thanks, guys. Catch
Yep.
you later.
Later. All right, so that's New World. Not out yet. Coming out. I think he said spring, Marchish, something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll have that to
Yeah,
look forward to. And
It was March 25th or something like that.
Okay.
Or 21st. It was March or May. I saw it on Amazon earlier.
and
I'm
as
kind of excited, actually.
I am too. I'm also looking forward to any new news they give out, which we'll bring to the show. As soon as they do, we'll have a whole nother topic on New Worlds at that point.
Oh yeah, and I think pretty important topic when it comes to MMORPGs is like there has been a lot of good MMORPGs in my opinion. Like you had the Star Wars Old Republic, you had some other ones that I don't remember on my head. But the main issue I've always found with MMORPGs is that they have always been trying to like compete with World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft really hit the top of everything,
Mhm.
and people keep comparing games to World of Warcraft, and I feel like it's one of the reasons to why some MMORPGs are dying, because they get so big around the World of Warcraft aspect.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that this game brings something really unique, so that you can't really compare it anymore to World of Warcraft, because I would really love to see an MMORPG live.
My problem with that though is, in my opinion, I used to be one of the biggest World of Warcraft players. Every day, all day long. I have several hundreds, if not thousands, of hours logged on World of Warcraft. And a couple expansions ago, I think around BFA, or not BFA, I'm sorry, Warlords of Draenor-ish, that time frame, they started tailoring it to the more casual player base, right? Everything's time gated. The crafting's not the same as it used to be. Everything is just kind of horrible now, right? I'm not saying the game's bad. It's just they killed it for me with the changes they made, and I used to love it. But nowadays, I don't think there is an MMO yet that has topped old World of Warcraft, not classic, but a couple expansion into it. But I think even World of Warcraft has already passed its prime.
Yeah, I think so too. Shadowlands is really promising from what I've read and heard about it. So that might be like the spark to light the fire again. But
yeah,
I think that,
I hope so.
Yeah, and I think for myself, the prime time of World of Warcraft was during the what's it called with the Lich King. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah, Wrath of the Lich King. I think that was the apex of World of Warcraft for me.
See, my favorite expansion was the Burning Crusade. To me, nothing will top that one.
No,
but
I couldn't deal with that.
I loved it back then. That was my prime time on that game. But all right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's pull Hollywood on in here, and we'll go through the rest of it with him.
Yeah.
Viv's all excited because Holly's coming back.
Welcome
back,
back,
Hollywood. All right, life of the party's here, guys. Hollywood's here for the 15th time.
Live the entire time.
What's up?
I swear it's been like 5 different things of food my mans have eaten.
Oh man. Yeah. What, Viv?
Okay, Vivi, I gotta ask a question to you before we start, alright?
Yeah.
What were you pouring in that mug? Was that cough syrup and wine?
What?
Yo, hold up, I can't hear anything.
What?
There we go.
What'd you pour in your mug,
cough syrup
Viv?
and wine you poured in your cup?
Thinking backwards.
It's whiskey into his coffee, bro, or rum.
He's in a whole different planet right now.
I have some rum.
That was
Okay.
right. That other bottle's where it keeps his cream.
Curve of the crop.
Awesome. All right.
Pour it in this.
So let's see. The next thing we have to talk about came out 2 days ago. All right. It is Star Wars Squadrons. Viv has played a little bit, not as much. Hollywood down here has played a little bit, not as much as me. And I probably sunk already like 40 hours into the game. Fireflies, have you played it yet?
No, I haven't. I love Star Wars overall, but I'm ashamed to say I have never played a Star Wars game other than the like Jedi role-playing games.
Hey, hold on, stop, hold up. Wait a second. You're telling me when you were little, you didn't play any of that Lego Star Wars?
I've never played Lego Star Wars. No.
Listen. The best Star Wars games ever to date is the Jedi Outcast games. Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, all them. The best.
The last Star Wars game I ever played was Jedi Academy.
And that one was
Star
great.
Wars game.
Kyle Katarn story, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so let me start this little video in the center of the screen so they can see kind of some of the game. And then we're going to go from there. All right, so I'm going to do a 2-minute quick summary of the game. Star Wars game is Star Wars, but you're playing a nobody. You're a quote-unquote special forces, quote-unquote, again, that is a pilot, right? It takes place after the 6th movie, the last one. So after Vader is bye-bye, after Palpatine is bye-bye. And the storyline, without giving spoilers away, is pretty much in the first mission, the prologue, a Empire pilot, the captain, goes rogue, and he goes to join the New Republic. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds just like the last Battlefront. However, it's not. She then guides the New Republic on pretty much a journey to help stop this portion of the Empire. The storyline's very linear. There's nothing super amazing about it. I'm not going to say the ending because we're avoiding spoilers again. But it's very linear. It's pretty much about these two teams going at each other the whole time. My rating of the story, 5 out of 10. Right? It felt very cheap on how they did some of it. I think the prime of the game was the combat in anything in the ship. But when you're out of the ship, they have broke the immersion. It's almost like a step backwards. I hate saying that because I love the game. But in between missions, the cinematics in VR, they killed that too, like in a bad way. I was absolutely in love with it until I saw how they did the VR cinematics. It's almost better to just play it without VR for the cinematic portion. But everything else is absolutely amazing inside of the missions.
In what way does it destroy the cinematics?
So in VR, the way you're watching it is almost like you're sitting back and there's a curved monitor in front of you. And that's kind of how you watch it. And to me, like, I was excited because they had hype.
Okay,
they
so you don't
hyped.
mean in the cockpit. You mean like the...
No. Just
Okay, alright.
the cutscene portion, because they had hyped this game up to be all great with VR. Combat, yeah, it's pretty fantastic in VR. Missions, absolutely amazing in VR. And this is focusing on single player right now. But anything other than those in VR, it's kind of trash. I do think graphically, when you're in VR inside of the ship and you're getting your briefing and whatnot, it does look better because it's like they all feel kind of short. I'll say that also, which is weird. They don't feel life-size in a way. That could have just been me, though. I don't know. But I do love the graphical detail of it. It does feel cut and paste from the last Battlefront, but it's still pretty good because that's still decent graphics. That was 2-3 years ago, not too far back. So that's the single player, no spoilers, all that. Heading over to multiplayer. My review on multiplayer is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of my favorite shooter aviation space games currently for the combat because, number one, you can't really go in and take, on your own to try to win. You have to stay with your team or you're screwed. It's a team-based game and it's the only piloting team game I've played that you have to play tactically, and that's what's amazing on it. The problems with multiplayer right now is they need to rebalance some of the stuff. I know the Empire bomber, you can get double the health of any other ship if you build it right, to where nothing can take you down. And if you have one support ship and four or five, whatever it is, TIE bombers, you're not going to lose. I did a match where my entire team did that to test this theory out. We had 30 kills and 1 death for our whole team. It was kind of broken.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my review as far as that goes. So let's start the actual, that's the summary that I have for it. So let's go into detail on this. So Hollywood and Viv, y'all have played it. What's up?
My first experience with it, like you said, I don't have too much experience. I played for like maybe 2 hours or so. It felt very linear, if that makes sense. Exactly like you said.
Yep.
Even in multiplayer, like it seems like the scope of the game is kind of small. That's kind of what it's marketed as. It's just piloting.
Let me stop you. Hold on. For multiplayer, did you only play dogfight?
No, I played whatever the fleet battles one was.
Ranked fleet battle or unranked?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of. Have you guys ever played Star Wars Battlefront?
Yeah, both of them.
Like the old ones where you could go dogfight and go to each other's ships and stuff. I don't know why, but that's kind of the same feel I was expecting, but I didn't get that.
See, I get that feel in fleet battles, not versus AI though. Versus, the ranked fleet battles, because you have do this and then do this, and then if they beat you more while you're trying to do the final part of the capital ship, it goes backwards, and now you have to defend. In a way, it's the same thing as the Battlefront, but it's different.
Yeah, kind of like this push-pull relationship.
Exactly. I do think, again, like I said, it's kind of broken right now. Once they rebalance it, it's going to be a lot better. But it's unique. I'll give it that. In its own way, it's unique. It's just like the same as the old ones, but it's also unique. I don't know if I'm making sense there when I say that. But what else do you got on that, Holly?
Yes, I'm just reading the chat. Some got denied. No, I think the thing I'm most excited for is exactly what you were saying earlier, like messing with VR. Like that game in VR is going to be absolutely insane. I'm like sitting in the cockpit and looking at.
Oh,
you
dude!
played War Thunder a lot with me, okay?
Yeah. This is better than War Thunder. It's better than War Thunder in VR.
Around, it actually feels like you're in that aircraft. And
listen, when you're in a X-Wing and you can turn around and see your R2 unit behind you, and then he gets shot and he screams, bro, come on, that's nostalgia.
That's gold.
I love it. I fucking love it. And if you're in a rebel in a TIE fighter and you can get C-3PO's head hanging on the front of your ship, what's not to love, dude? In VR, I could almost go and touch his head. VR in this game, I think the reason I love VR in multiplayer is because it brings so much nostalgia back from the movies, from the old games. Just knowing I'm sitting in a fucking TIE fighter or an X-Wing. Pardon my language.
About Star
but
Wars, right?
Yes, but it's just it's there, dude. I feel it. I love it.
I'm so high. I have
single
everybody
player.
That just joined the stream now. Willoughby, shout out to you, bro. I'm going up there in late October to hang out with him, and that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Star Wars Squadrons, and I'm gonna introduce him to VR, and I'm so excited for that. Like they're looking around and seeing TIE fighters explode all around you and everything. That's gonna be so sick.
Yeah, I do think multiplayer is where the game wins, and they did say that's what the focus is. Single player's subpar. But I'm also excited because right now multiplayer is fun. But having 2 different game modes, only one of which being ranked, almost is like they want you to dogfight to warm up and go play your ranked games. And that's it. They don't even have an unranked fleet battle unless you're playing against AI, which doesn't really make sense to me. But they are going to expand on it. And I cannot wait for that. That's what's going to be amazing.
Definitely.
But, as far as the details of the game go, Viv, do you have a review you want to throw out?
Man, it was pretty. You already touched on how the standing in the hangar, you click instead of moving around, you just clicked on spots you're on Google Streets.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is how completely incorrect the ship capabilities are. You feel like you're in a paper airplane in an X-wing, but you're in a tank in a TIE fighter. You feel like super nimble in a TIE fighter, like you're supposed to be.
Yep.
But it didn't mean that the X-wings were trash. And when you're trying to fly around an X-wing, it just feels like a slug.
To me, realistically, looking at it as if it's in the movies, that's almost right. Because in the movies, the TIE fighters were military aircraft. They were designed not to focus on life, which is why they didn't have a life support, but to fight. Whereas the X-Wings and whatnot were developed off the Naboo fighters. And those were developed more for the civilian militias and whatnot, for that side.
Well,
So-
they were originally designed before the I don't know canon anymore versus Star Wars universe
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, that's the questionable
X-Wings were
part.
a military aircraft originally pitched to the Empire, but the rebels got a hold of them.
Yeah.
And they
I
cost
think
too much.
I think that's still canon. I think that's
I
still
don't know
canon.
about that, yeah.
But
Yeah,
Um,
the balance is very interesting because
But,
It's
you
off.
the TIE fighters, they don't have shields, for example.
uh-huh.
uh,
And the thing could
Um,
be that they're wanting us to try to find the meta, and they're not trying to keep the meta the same for both sides. So let's say the TIE fighters is very hit and run meta. You know, unless you're in the bomber, you have a support with you, you fly in, you drop your bombs or your ion bombs, you shoot your missiles, whatever you're doing, you haul ass back. Guerrilla
No,
tactics.
I kind of disagree with the TIE fighter thing. Like, at least when you're dogfighting, the TIE fighters, I feel, since they're so maneuverable, you get up right behind them and you sit right on their ass.
In the bomber,
And then the X. Oh, okay. I got
in
what
the
you're saying.
bomber, it's hit and run. In a TIE fighter that's fighting or an interceptor, follow them, stay on their ass.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out the New Republics, you know, the X-Wings, the R-Wings, the A-Wings, or the Y-Wings, whatever the other one is. I'm trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
I'd say the X-Wings definitely hit and run too, like tactics, you know.
I almost
So-
want to agree with you, but it doesn't feel. I don't. I have to play it more on that side because I played mostly on the Empire, and I have to touch more on the New Republic.
So we actually have a question in the Twitch chat from Crimson Fucker, where he asks, how does it look / feel compared to Rebel Squadron?
So I think it's better, right? My preference is it's a lot better because it's heavily focused on the combat, the flight, all that. The whole game is developed for it. Where it's also a little bit more advanced in places, right? I think it has potential if they keep expanding and adding onto it where it's going to become amazing. But we'll have to wait and see.
Hope that summarizes it for you, Crimson.
There's another thing that bothered me, and Babes, you know about this.
What?
When you're near, at least in the story mode, when you're near, you're doing missions and stuff, and you're near a capital ship, especially on the Star Destroyers, you can clearly tell that there are blind spots, and you'll get tucked right inside one of their blind spots, and yet you're still getting hit, and you can
See,
look in all directions. There's no laser tower shooting.
I definitely noticed
and
because I
it's
saw
really
when you
hard.
did that. I saw when you did that. On multiplayer, the only time that happens is if you are past the line of safety because you have not done enough to get over there yet. You're not winning. Makes sense, but they just have the ship kind of AI target you and it shows you every time how you got killed, so it makes sense. Single player, I noticed that in the beginning half of the storyline, but I didn't notice it as much as you got more into it just because there's so much more going on and you're always moving. So, again, single player versus multiplayer, single player subpar. They didn't focus enough on it. But yeah. Combat systems, what do y'all think about how all the combat works?
It's so weird for me how they. So on my joystick, I have to like bind 2 different buttons for the different missiles, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, I don't know, man. But the shield, like the power management, that is so cool.
I love that.
Like changing your power management to guns, to shields, and then back to engines and rebalancing it. Like that feels so cool. Like you're you're positioning to get on someone's tail. You're on engine power management. You get right in their ass and you put it up to guns and you just start blazing.
I'm gonna go to your other question, right? I think that, or your other point about key bindings, I think that heavily depends on what joystick you have. Okay, because I have like the X52. I have that one as well under my desk. This one I like because if you see, I've got this button for targeting, this one for missile 1, this for missile 2, this for flare or countermeasure. So I've got enough buttons to have everything here that I need. And then this right here controls my power management. And then I don't remember what I did for this one, but I did something to it. I don't know. But it's a button. It does heavily depend on what joystick you have. The problem that I saw is that for some reason, my joystick, when I go into that game, it's like they renumbered all the buttons. It's not the actual numbers.
It's so confusing. So confusing.
I don't understand what happened with that and why that's the way it is. That's kind of irritating.
I just end up having to kind of reach over and use my keyboard. I'm just like, I'm not looking for that button.
Yeah, I think that, minus those, issues with the setup controls and etc., I think the game combat system itself is absolutely amazing. I love the option to turn off your HUD and play with only your cockpit instruments. I love that. That's all I do.
All you do is play with your cockpit instruments?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
So, we've already said something positive, something negative. We talked about single player versus multiplayer. We hit the combat system, power management, all that. So let's go into another topic of this. There is already tournaments going on for squadrons to win prize money. There is talk of the possibility that it becoming the next esports game. The first space fighter, air fighter esports game to exist. What do you think about that?
It's kind of surprising considering how early or how new this game is.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be very interesting watching a flight game be in the esports scene. I don't watch much esports personally, but if I see squadrons in there, I know I might have to sit back and watch something.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a very daring move, to be honest. I mean, it's very new. The game is released 2 days ago, and I think that they might be onto something going into an esports tournament section already. So I think that is a great job from their side, and I hope that they can bring it home because I haven't played the game, but it's looking really nice with that little Java bobblehead.
It is nice. Ewok bobblehead all the way. Last point I have to throw out. Do you think it will thrive and survive? What are your thoughts with what you've played?
It feels like a very niche game. Like I said, it's fun, but I don't know. When you play certain games like Star Citizen, Tarkov, there's always progression.
Yep.
In Squadrons, there doesn't really feel like any progression. It's kind of like hop in, get a game or two in, and then hop off.
I do think it's nice that they have the rank system out because to me that adds progression to it. Other than that, it's just customizations that you unlock, and it's not the best. But the rank system, what's different than that in something like Valorant? Nothing. You have customization, and you have your rank system.
The
I think
team will probably keep it alive.
I think the niche is any aviation game or space fighter game. You have to have that passion to play it. I think the bonus that this has is that not only is it that requiring people, it's also Star Wars, which is extra points already from people who love Star Wars. So do I think it'll thrive and survive? I think it'll survive. We will see. We will see if it thrives. Crimson, thank you for the follow on behalf of Impera.
I don't think there's any chance that it won't survive, especially considering how many Star Wars enthusiasts there are. There will always be somebody to come back and play.
Yep.
Just kind of to check it out.
Yep, I agree completely. Y'all have anything else to add on Star Wars Squadrons?
Not yet.
All right. We'll come back to that and hit that some more in the next episodes. Just to kind of keep updates going on how it's going, the direction they're pushing, etc. But we've been on for 2.5 hours. I'm gonna push us to our next subject. We had a plan for 2 hours tonight, but we're pretty far over that. But we don't want to cut it short. We have 2 more topics, so let's hit those. So the next thing is drawing part 2. Y'all ready? Number 50 won last time, so 50. Sorry, but you can't win again. Your number got pulled for being a first winner. All right. So go ahead, Hollywood, when you are ready. Let me know.
Ready. All right.
Let me know what you got.
The button 65.
That's me. No, it's not.
5.
Arctic Ronin.
What the hell's what?
Arctic Ronin.
There's no Arctic
Congratulations, man.
in
Huh?
Japan.
What?
Fireflies, can you do me a favor? Contact Arctic Ronin if you're not in
He said
the Twitch.
Arctic Ronin one, and I'm very confused. There's no
Oh.
Arctic. There's no Arctic in Japan.
Arctic Ronin, you have taken second place for the drawing. You have won $50 worth of Impera merchandise. Congratulations. What's your
Is
question?
Ronin spelled with an I-N at the end, Japanese, or an A-N Irish? Because that would make more sense if it was Irish.
Let me double check. It's ARCTICRONIN.
There's no Arctic in Japan. There's no Arctic Ronin.
And I might have spelled it wrong too when I pulled it over to our list. So, I don't know. But we need to hit up Arctic Ronin for second place and Phobos for third place. We still have one.
It's a drawing contest. I thought people were like drawing, not
Oh,
just
God.
like drawing numbers out of the hat. I was gonna see some cool artwork.
All right, so our last game that we're talking about tonight. It's not out yet, but it's been out for 5 years.
Ugh.
That makes no sense. I know. It's been in beta or alpha.
Been in
For
development
5
for 8.
5 years out and playable in development for 8. It's a pretty popular game among people, regardless of the bugs and issues it has. If you know it already, then you know it. They also made Wing Commander. They have a single player coming out, I think, in the next like 3 or 4 months that has Mark Hamill as one of the lead actors. This game is
Wow,
Star
that's
Citizen. So, Hollywood, I'm going to let you give a 2-minute summary of Star Citizen.
Oh no, that's your thing, man. We recruited like 8,000 people already.
I did. All right. So, I got a video playing in the middle, so you can kind of check it out. But Star Citizen. You can be a FedEx UPS driver, but that's not FedEx UPS. You can deliver stuff. You can go to old planets that have a lot of resources you can buy and sell it at planets with no resource to buy it for more. So you make money. You can be a miner in a ship or on foot. You could be a sheriff going to hunt people down that broke the law, or you can choose to break the law. This game, you can do anything you want to do. Anything. And they're building it even more to where you can go even deeper in anything you want to do. So, over time, we're going to see where this goes. But for now, that's kind of where we're at. What's up?
So to me, when it comes to Star Citizen, it kind of feels like a more, how should I put it, more like a first-person version of EVE Online. If you guys have ever played it,
I have no. It's different. Look, this game, the immersion is beyond any other game's immersion. You can fly your ship. You can walk around your ship. You can have combats in space in your ship. You can get on foot and have combat on foot. It's a first-person shooter with the detail of Q and E leaning left and right. You can build your weapons up with attachments. You can build your ship with whatever guns you want on it. You can do whatever you want to do to make money. Plus, they're adding more stuff to make money. The game's amazing.
Look, when it works is one thing, but I'm telling you right now, there's nothing that quite matches the feeling of getting out of a hammerhead, which is a massive ship with 5 gunners on your butt while you're piloting the thing, and everybody's working in unison to protect the aircraft. Like, it's insane.
They have let's go into that. The team play of this game. You can play alone. There's ships to play one person. Plenty of them. I think they have close to 100 ships at this point. My camera's fuzzing out for some reason. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. All right, so you can play alone, or you can play with your own fleet. And when I say fleet, I don't mean 5 people. I don't mean 10. They have ships they're building and still being created right now. that will take 80 to 90 people to run the ships completely. What other game does that? What game requires that many people to run one ship? We've already all played. We've ran ships that held 10 people. We've almost filled the ship all the way up. Every gun was manned on the ship. It's the warhead, hammerhead that you were talking about. 60-something missiles on it. 6 or 7 or 8 different turrets. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the sides, 2, 4, 6. 6 turrets. It's ridiculous, right? So, is there an advantage to having a bigger ship? Yeah, if you can have a big crew to run it. If you don't have a big crew to run it, no, you're at a disadvantage. Example of that is last night I bought a new ship. Hollywood, I wanted to tell you this. I bought the Hurricane last night. Hurricane is a 2-man ship. When you buy it, it comes with scatter guns. So it's kind of like shotguns that the pilot controls. Okay? Well, then your gunner, right? He's got 4 cannons that just and will tear people up. But if I don't have a gunner, my scatter guns are useless. They're just not gonna. It's not gonna keep up. And then the crazy part about this game is every ship flies so differently. If you're in a big ship, you've got 2 different variations. You got a big ship that won't move fast and it'll turn super slow. You got the variation. I don't know if I said 2. There's actually 3. You got the ships that will move fast and turn slow. You got the big ships that will move slow and turn fast, right? Like the Carrack.
That's not even mentioning all the different, like you got light fighters, heavy fighters,
yeah.
you got cargo ships, you got mining ships, you got transport ships.
You got capital
luxury
ships.
Aircraft that cost like 30 million, what is it, 30 million credits or something
yeah,
like that?
30,
you grind
36.
for like a year before you get there, yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. The game is in alpha, so the cool part about that is if you want to buy the ship with realized currency, dollars, whatever country you're from, your currency there, you can do it. And you'll always have that ship even after the game comes out. The thing that catches people off guard is they don't sell the ships for $20. There's some ships that cost $3,000 to purchase. But that's because you're buying the ship to help support the development of the game. So it's almost like...
I made it for less money than that.
but there's so many different variations with this game. It's absolutely insane. If we have friends that don't like flying, that just love shooting, right? First-person shooters. They've fallen in love with the game already. This game doesn't have a niche because you can do everything. You want your best friend to come and play with you, but he's a Call of Duty guy? That's cool. Take him on your ship. Shoot an EMP.
In chat. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You kind of came up late.
Okay.
$2.3 million, babes.
Yeah.
Billion, sorry. $billion. It's
$2.3 billion what?
$2.3 billion have been made in pledge packages.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not last I read.
I don't know. I got a friend that spent $8,000 on his own just buying ships.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's the game is something else. Like I was saying, you can take your friend that plays shooters like Call of Duty, Tarkov, whatever. He doesn't want to fly. That's cool. When you're out in space, shoot an EMP at a ship, disabling it, have him go as a pirate and get onto the ship and go kill everybody on it. Now you have another ship as well that you can take over and fly around because you stole their ship. Anything you want to do. The game is crazy. It just takes a creative mind to figure out what you want to do. That's my review.
Star Citizen as of June.
300 million.
Yeah, is from individual pledges and crowdsource funding is a bit over 300 million, and then from other sources like investments and stuff like that, they've got another 60 million ish. Far cry from billions. I don't know what that comment.
Yeah, I don't know where that number came from. But,
it's alright. Regardless,
it's very important to note. While the game is very, actually, I'm gonna say very unstable at the moment, and it kind of feels a little bare bones. If they ironed out all the bugs that we have right now, I literally think it would count as a AAA game.
Oh yeah.
Like if we didn't experience the same bugs.
No, it would surpass AAA games because they're limited.
If we had to put it into a percentage right now, the completed systems they have, I probably wouldn't even say 10%. Probably
5.
like
5?
5%. It's
Because they don't have everything even in the game they want in the game yet. But the cool part is right now they're considering fixing the bugs and launching mid 2021.
they're talking about having 100 solar systems in the game. Now that sounds like a little bit of a far cry to me, but I mean, hey.
But it's not unrealistic because they want 10 at launch and they want to add on after that. It's crazy what they want to do, but I support it because I don't want a AAA game that the producers are limiting, or what's the word? The people sponsoring the money are limiting what they can do because they want it by this deadline. I like Star Citizen because they've got a dream and they're going after what they want to produce, not what they're allowed to produce. I think when this game's finished, polished, and released, it's gonna be the #1 game for years and years and years to come.
I look at it this way: this game it's been in development for so long, but considering how much money has been sunk into this project and how much passion the team actually has, I don't know if you guys have watched like interviews or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's
I
there.
have.
It's there.
Yeah.
The game will eventually be completed. It's probably not going to be until like another 5, 6, maybe 10 years, but still, I'm fine with waiting personally. That's just me.
If they fix the bugs, they don't even have to finish the game for me to love it. Right? I love the game already, but there's what's known as 30Ks, which means it's a server-side crash. The servers are DDoSing themselves. And that happens because they're working on a patch for that currently. But it's because their servers are so limited on what they have, and they're trying to get it out there, that all the information going back and forth just crashes their servers on their end. And that happens at least once or twice a day. If you play all day long, you'll see it. Sometimes a lot more. You have good days, you have bad days. But let's get on track with the notes. Hollywood, you're like the combat expert for Star Citizen, right? Give me your combat system review.
Yeah, so in comparison to a game like Star Wars Squadrons, for example, of course it's going to be very, very advanced. Like when you're sitting in your cockpit, I primarily fly the Aegis Gladius, which is a light fighter. But when you're sitting in your cockpit, you have 4 multi-purpose displays, as well as a HUD directly in front of you that looks pretty much exactly like a fighter jet's HUD.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. And on these multi-purpose displays, there's a bunch of different, there's like probably about 9 or 10, I think, different options you can choose. Like you can monitor your aircraft's heat, your weapons, you can rebind them to different fire at different intervals, etc., etc., etc. Like it's very in-depth, but they're going even more in-depth. That's the thing. Like you can literally look at the MFDs and you can see all the different slots for expansion, like they're empty spaces.
Mm-hmm.
There's missiles in the game. There's all kinds of different tactics. Like I used to play War Thunder a lot, and I was a little worried to see how my skill would transfer from War Thunder to Star Citizen. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it really doesn't, except for your aim. But like it's a whole different world. There's all kinds of different tactics. Like when you're in a Gladius, like the ship I'm in, your thing is you want to get right up on top of them, and you want to turn fight, and you want to dogfight them close. If you're in a large ship, like say a Hammerhead or a Constellation, which these are these massive ships, multi-crew ships, the best tactic you want to make to fight something as small as a Gladius is kind of to make really fast passes by, fire missiles and get guns on them, and then keep going. Because that Gladius, it can't keep up with you, and it can't dogfight and turn around you if you're going 1,200 meters a second, for example.
Yeah.
So there's just a whole lot of different tactics you can implement and thought process that you need
to give credibility to what you're saying. Also, I know this is a game, but in real life, Hollywood here has his pilot's license. He's training to, I believe you're going to school to try to become a pilot in the military, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've got your license. You've flown for a while. Those skills, that knowledge transfers to game. There's no doubt in that. From War Thunder, where you're flying older actual aircraft, to stuff like this in space. The physics are there, the science is there. Space physics are different, but the combat is there, right? Altitude, there's no such thing, but what's up?
I would agree. I agree largely, but you see, when you're in atmosphere, for example, okay, so you're in atmosphere and your aircraft, your flight characteristics are completely different than when you're off in space. You know, you
Yeah.
can do some crazy maneuvers in space you can't do in atmosphere. And the atmosphere flight models, they feel a lot like flying a plane, you know, except for the
Yeah.
fact you got literal rockets strapped to your back. But I mean, like, it's not so far off. I gotta say, it's definitely not a game like War Thunder in terms of realism. But these things are two different things. You know, you're
Yeah.
flying a spaceship versus a vintage World War II or Cold War aircraft. You know.
Yeah. So, the money making in the game, right? You can do combat for money making. You can on foot or in space, or on planet atmosphere. You can do combat wherever and make money by taking bounties on AI, taking bounties on other players. Pretty much, that's one aspect of it. You can do the trades where you go to one planet, which I already mentioned, buy material that's cheap over there and selling it on a planet that it's expensive because they don't have it. You can take contracts to deliver packages to people. There's so many different things you can do to make money. They literally have drug runs if you want to go that route. You can run drugs between planets. Do I support that? No. Don't support that. But that's because I'm a good guy in the game, and Hollywood always needs me to break him out of jail, so...
Well, if you're breaking people out of jail, you're not exactly a good guy.
Listen, the law is not right in that game. They put people in jail for stealing burritos. Okay?
Which is also against the law in real life.
Hey man, it's
Good
just
point.
a burrito. I
Right?
shouldn't be forced to mine rocks just because I took a burrito.
Ask a Mexican if it's just a burrito.
I'm calling my sister-in-law right now. She'll tell us.
I'm calling my best friend. Hold on. Where's my phone? Oh, it's here.
All right. But, like, the game, I think, is amazing because of the options you have. And we barely touched on it, right? The other thing for money is mining. But that's not just the other thing. That's one other option of hundreds. So we've said a lot of positive stuff about the game. The negatives, I would say, are things like the 30Ks where the servers crash. It does have bugs where... I think they actually fixed the bug where you can't leave your cockpit seat or your gunner seat now. There are bugs.
Okay, but man, I get ejected out of a space craft going 1,200 meters a second. That kind of makes me want to punch my laptop.
Yeah, I get that. So, my opinion, the game is great. It's got bugs, but it's still one of the funnest games to play with friends. Yeah.
You know, I think if you're sitting on a game and you can literally play it for hours upon hours while getting booted and 30K'd and crashing your desktop literally once an hour, then the game's got to be good. I mean, like...
Yeah.
One of the two. It's probably a little bit of both.
Gameplay is great, but, you know, let us keep our progress, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing I agree with. I lost over $1 million, which, by the way, $1 million in game is worth $1,000 in real life. I lost that much money because of a server bug. I went to do, if you know Star Wars, in this game it's called a quantum jump or quantum drive, but like a hyperspace, right? I did that, and it literally took me, instead of going to my path around the planet, it took me straight into the planet and blew up my ship. It's not supposed to do that. It's a bug. I accepted it. It crushed me inside.
It's an intended feature. Your quantum drive malfunctioned, and it sent you into the planet.
Don't know about that,
That is
Chief.
what happened.
Next time you'll do the proper maintenance on your quantum drive.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean...
Pay your mechanic more next time.
Well,
Oh,
that's
God.
one aspect of it, but I mean, why do you have a suicidal navigator?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Exactly. You know?
You gotta
Denial.
get the people to do the work for you as expected, so you can't go and just get a suicidal hotline worker helping
Smash
you
into a
navigate.
planet. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Alright, well, regardless, the game's got issues, but it's a great game. I encourage people to try it out. They just had a free flight in where you could play it for free. Do I think it's worth buying? Yeah, if you can, tolerate bugs crashing your game every so often. It is still worth getting into and playing. Of all the games we've talked about, yeah, it does require a strong computer. The only game I can't say if I recommend yet is New World, but Devil said he did, so that's a plus. Tarkov, absolutely recommend it if you like a very hard first-person shooter with what's the word I'm looking for? That's very punishing. Definitely worth playing.
You hate yourself, but you still will not play it.
Yep. Star Wars Squadrons, 100% recommend it. It's an amazing game. And Star Citizen, if you can handle bugs and you don't rage and punch your monitor and cost yourself money, then
Yeah, who needs to actually play the game?
yeah, then I recommend getting it. Y'all have anything else to add?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Negative.
Just peanut butter to my jelly.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the final event drawing.
Ugh, another one of these.
Yes, sir.
Are you guys ready?
This is for first place. Let's see who gets it.
4.
4. Number 4
The
is
first one-digit number.
Did you know
Alright.
that the 4 is master of all numbers?
All right, hold on. Listen. Before I say this name, I'm going to tell you what you just won. Okay? You have won
Tell him.
$100 worth of Impera merchandise. So all in all today, we have given away $175 worth of Impera merchandise. The winner of the $100 is Englishman. Congratulations. If you can DM him and let him know for me.
Which Englishman?
I do want to say real quick, this giveaway is on behalf of Senior Shadow from Impera. He has personally came out and donated this money to be able to give all of this away. So Shadow, on behalf of all of Impera, we thank you for helping us with this event. We really appreciate what you do. You're a great person. Thank you very much. Neo Viper, thanks for the follow on behalf of Impera also. So our winners was Phobos, 3rd place for $25 for Imp merchandise. Arctic Ronin, 2nd place, $50 of Imp merchandise. And then Englishman for 1st place, $100 worth of Imp merchandise. So good job, guys. Congratulations. Thank y'all for joining in on to the giveaway in the event. We appreciate it. And there's more to come. A couple other events we have coming up on the marketing side. Let me find where those went.
I don't understand how you have more.
Hey, do some color for me real quick.
Did you bring your coloring book, Vivi?
Red plus yellow equals orange. And red tastes like chicken the most.
Correct.
And yeah. That was an auto mod Neo Viper.
That wasn't us, Viper. That was Automod.
That was
Allow.
allow. I can't even read it because my thing says chat pause due to scroll. The fuck
Okay, so we have additional events coming up. When we hit 1,500 likes on our Instagram, Shadow also is going to be giving away an EOD edition for Tarkov for first place. EOD for Tarkov for first place. We're going to be doing, we don't have the price figured out yet, but probably about $75 of Imp merchandise for 2nd place and $50 Imp merchandise for 3rd place. On top of that, at 1,000 Facebook likes, Father Andy is donating 2 Impera t-shirts. At 2,000 likes on Facebook.
Just as a quick question, back to those t-shirts. Said Father Andy is donating those t-shirts.
Yes.
Are they? Will they have holes
Impera. They're not holy. No. At 2,000 likes, Father Andy also is donating an EOD giveaway for Tarkov as well. So there's a potential currently, if we can get our social media up, to get 2 people EOD for Tarkov, as well as Impera merchandise. So if you're interested,
yelling at me, I already have EOD.
Shut your mouth. If you're interested, head on over to the social media portion of the Discord, of Impera Discord. Click on that link. Go like. Keep following us. We'll bring you some more content, some more stuff. Drop a follow on the Twitch also if you haven't followed already. The show's going to be going every 2 weeks. It's going to be obviously bi-weekly if it's every 2 weeks. And yeah, that's what we got for today. So, Viv, do me a favor. Drop that link to the Discord into the chat one last time. If anybody's got any questions, throw them out now.
I don't know where Link is. I think he went to go save Zelda.
What?
He
Okay.
said drop Link.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Ganondorf's going to kill him. Thank you all again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Again, one last time to reiterate, events going on for our social media channels. We'll be doing this show every 2 weeks on Sunday, same time, same place. So we hope to see y'all here. Sergeant Vapes right here, Vivicus on the top, Fireflies on the right, Hollywood on the bottom. We all thank you for being here. Y'all have a great night. See ya later.
Good night.
Here, y'all.
you